They assemble at night, each one having prepared as diligently as possible for the time given to them before the witching hour, the hour of reckoning, the time when they begin outdoor cartoon television. Stray Casts is on the air.
Good evening, glory, hallelujah to you. What the heck is the story? What's going through you? This is the glorified version of a Bass Fishing Talk Show. And I'm your host, Pat Renwick. Welcome, Bass Galaxy. It's Wednesday. We're feeling good. Come on. Wednesday night, we're feeling all right. How we doing? Hey, are you ready? I mean, we're just keeping season 10 rolling and going. The crazy train commences. It's my co-host over here. It's Ryan Popcorn Whitaker. Say hello to Ryan Whitaker.
What's up?
Hey, how? What's going on, Ryan?
Hey, how?
Hey, how? Ryan, we got a wing dinger.
Wing dinger.
So I think it's like every third show, we're doing a segment show. Usually we kind of do like one-on-one interviews, right? And then, bring in miscellaneous guests. But every third show, we're doing a segment show. So we're going to have a star of the Bass Galaxy on the show, along with a brand new segment, Watson's Worldwide Wisdom. What? That's James Watson.
Yeah.
And tonight, our star of the Bass Galaxy is the one and only Kyle Patrick, Bassmaster Elite Series sophomore. Now he's a sophomore, second year guy. So we got Kyle Patrick as the star of the Bass Galaxy. We have James Watson's Worldwide Wisdom worldwide premiere, and then we have the return of the Local Mallets, led by Ryan Popcorn Whitaker. I let you run the trolling motor on that one. And we have Caleb.
You got to wear the batteries down first, though.
Caleb Konrad from New York. We'll never wear down the impulses. Caleb Konrad from New York. Give it up for Caleb. That's right. He's a local mallet. Ryan, I think he's like your stepbrother. You guys should do a movie together. A lot of commonalities.
It's pretty wild.
That you two share. Looking forward to hearing Caleb Konrad's story. I mean, that's the deal right there. Hey, of course, as we promised, if you saw Kyle Patrick's post on Instagram and Facebook, there's party favors tonight. There's giveaways. That's right. All you got to do is like and share this live Facebook feed. It's that easy. Take it off of private. Sorry, YouTube people. We get messages. It's straightcast.net people, but the Facebook seems to be the nucleus. So like and share the live Facebook feed. At the end of the show, the Ginger Ninja is going to feed our Rockin' Show Fantasy is going to get him to the Ginger Ninja. Ginger Ninja's getting him to us. And we're picking a winner. Here's the first prize. 10-cup box of fun to your door. Compliments of Luke Foley and 10-cup mountain whiskey. Next prize is a box, a line and lure, bow to stern, and armor shield for your boats. There you go. Uncle Kevin's KVD line and lure.
Stay slick.
There it is, slick. And here's the big prize. Kyle Patrick is giving away a 2 anchor lights. Yeah, for your shallow water anchors. He'll tell you more about those. Yeah, 2 anchor lights. That's pretty cool.
I'm going to sign up for that one.
Yeah, they're like, I don't know. It's like, those things are a couple $100 a pop.
Yeah.
Right? Pretty expensive. He is also going
through check-in.
This is a true story. He's heard it before on Stray Cast, and he said, Pat, can I also give him something from my kitchen? So I'm like, yeah, bud, you can. So you have a chance to win Tin Cup whiskey box. You have line and lure box. You have a Kyle Patrick 2 lights for your power poles. Also, you have something from Kyle Patrick's Kitchen. All you got to do is like and share the live Facebook feed. Rock and Shoal Fantasy's getting that to the best dang producer in bass fishing.
I bet it's a potato with a sticker
It
on it.
might be a potato with a stray cast sticker on it.
Yeah,
Hey,
Yeah.
you know who is the best dang producer in bass fishing?
I do.
Yeah, he's red on the head, just like a producer should be. The one and only, it's Andrew Ellenberger. He's a ginger ninja. What's up, Gingy?
What's up, Pat? What's up, Rye?
Hi.
Gingy, are you ready to fish, Ginge? Come on. You got to be going nuts.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
I know you love hockey, and I know you're a hockey dad and a hockey player and all that good stuff. But, I mean, come on. A guy that wins every tournament he fishes, you got to be a little bit ready to
I don't
go.
know about that, but
You gotta
I am ready to go fishing.
Gotta fatten up that wallet, man.
Yeah.
Hey, Ginge, you're one of those guys that seem to be, I don't know, following suit over to Fenwick. Seems like you've been on some of them Fenwick rods.
Oh yeah, lots of them.
Whoa.
Yeah,
What?
they're unbelievable, man. Don't sleep on them, Bass Galaxy. I'll tell you that right now.
That world class is
That's phenomenal. And the elites and even the HMGs for the 150, it's unbelievable rods.
Yikes. They did a great job over there.
Yeah.
100%. Yep.
I got one in my hands too. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
The actions are very unique. They remind me of old Loomis actions, if I
Yep.
could say so. Like old Mag Bass stuff. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
And like I have a 7.5 one they just sent here, Ginge. It's yours actually. The
I have that one.
no, you have a cranker 7.5.
7.5.
cranker. Yeah.
Okay.
The it's lighter than the like the 7 foot in some of the other series, Ginge.
Yeah, it's nuts.
I don't know how they do it. Check out the new Fenwick rods. And if you get a chance and you're on fenwickfishing.com, check out the Andy the Ginger Ninja Signature series. It's right there. It's under the HMGs. Look for it.
Yeah.
They're completely red.
Don't sleep on the Fenwick.
I like guys. Don't ever sleep on the Fenwick's Bass Galaxies.
Yep. All right.
All right, Ginge.
I'm good.
Let's pay some bills. What do you think?
Yeah.
Let's do that. Hey, you know what slices, dices, and even catches mices? You know, Ryan?
I want you to tell me first.
It's our brand new advertiser. That's the Mad Science Print Lab.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Joe and Danny and the boys over there, right?
Get stuff printed.
I mean, anything you want, hats, shirts, you name it.
Yeah.
Your deal.
They can get very creative. Any apparel. I mean, anytime I ask them, like, can I get this shirt? Yeah, we got it.
Right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, we got it. We got it. Sun shirts, whatever.
Check them out on the gram, Mad Science Print Lab. They have some pretty unique products.
And they are anglers as well.
They understand.
They understand
They
the need for
understand.
fishing apparel.
You know who
Yeah.
understands the need? The need to stay on the water? It's Impulse Lithium. I don't skip a beat with Impulse Lithium.
No skipping beats.
Out there all day.
No palpitations.
Yeah, but I'm ready to hit him again. I mean, come on, man. It's
Yeah,
been a
man.
minute for me since
I know.
I ain't caught one since the tank in Chicago.
I know.
This
I didn't even
weekend.
get to catch one there. I
Gosh,
got
dang.
some bites though.
Yeah, the crowd made me catch them. They
Those
cheered
farm
me
raised
on.
fish were.
They cheered me
slamming
on.
that
They made me do it. They like the tightrope jig, don't
Oh,
they?
you landed one?
No, I just you know what I mean.
Okay.
Move the jaws a little.
Yeah.
But they like that little tightrope, that little 16th.
Oh, it was awesome.
They were
Yeah.
killing it.
Yeah, they were killing that.
Hey, I want to welcome a new advocate to the Stray Cast team, and that's Josh Sokol. Yeah, Josh is awesome, dude. He helps you guys with tightrope, and he's been making some clips and stuff for Stray Cast here, and he's just an all-around proper bassin' man.
He's the man.
Runs the Anglers Outlet
Yes.
over there.
Yeah, awesome tackle shop.
Heck yeah. Thanks,
Yeah.
Josh. We appreciate you in all you're doing. Hey, Ryan, you looking for a spot? You want to know what the water temperature is right now on Grand Lake in Oklahoma? Ryan, do you want to know what the water clarity is on Lake Okeechobee?
Hang on, let me pull up my
Ryan,
pro app.
do you want to know how the Grand Calumet River looks at the branch where it enters the Calsag Channel before Lake Michigan?
Right in the mouth.
Right in the kissa. All you need, Ryan, is the Omnia Premium Pro app. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
OmniaFishing.com. Go to OmniaFishing.com. Whoa. Download the Premium Pro app, and boom, it's right there.
Also,
Yes.
on Omnia, from starting tomorrow through the 4th of February, all fishing line 20% off.
Really?
Yep. Get your string
All right. Still till the 4th of Feb.
to the 4th of February. It
20
starts tomorrow.
20% off
Yep.
all fishing line.
Yes.
That's a way to do it right
Everything.
before the season gets kicking, too.
Yeah.
I mean, for real spool everything.
Yep. Bulk spools, whatever.
20% off.
Get on it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that trilene, man.
You like the tri line?
Yeah, I don't know. People are like, that's
I do too.
Whatever. I like that.
I do
stuff,
too.
man.
I did just get some Defiance stuff. It's pretty cool though.
Heck
But
yeah.
I'm going to try that out. I haven't tried new fishing line in like 20 years. Probably longer.
Do you
honestly.
need to? You know who else hasn't? He hasn't even re-spooled in 20 years. I think is he in the mist? Oh yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the whiskey. Gypsy.
Hey, guys.
Hey,
What's up, buddy?
how you doing, Luke?
I just got back from Vegas
Yeah?
like 30 minutes ago, so I'm tired.
You just flew in, and boy, are your arms tired?
Yeah,
Yikes.
and my liver.
So you got a big, for those listening on the podcast this evening, later, or tomorrow, Luke Foley has a giant jug of iced tea. He also has what appears to be a straight glass of tin cup whiskey on the rocks.
That's an old
That's
one.
right.
Or is it an old fashioned? Or is that straight tin cup?
No, it's just straight 10 cup on the rocks.
I thought so, Rye. I thought so.
Guy know how to party or what?
Yeah. I mean, he's
I
getting
just-
back. Well, he's
yeah.
kicking it back in. He's resetting his receptors, is what he's doing.
I was feeling too lazy to make an old fashioned, so I unpacked, poured a glass,
just
tuned in.
Just add ice. So that's all he did. Hey, Foley, Abu just shipped a couple like an Ellie rods here for you. 7.6.
All right, wonderful.
It says to Luke, love Ike. 2
Great.
7.6ers. Yeah, it's a big heart on it. It's pretty cool. I like it.
I'll
Foley.
get those sometime. Near
Foley,
future.
get this. The Bass Galaxy, all they got to do to win some cool stuff tonight for this Kyle Patrick, what was that? For this Kyle Patrick, James Watson, and Caleb Konrad show, is like and share the live Facebook feed. They can win a box of tin cup whiskey to the door, right? They can win a beautiful package from Line and Lure. And of course, Kyle Patrick is hooking everything up. Hooking it up tonight. Are you excited, Foles?
I am.
2
I
new
am.
segments. Watson's Worldwide Wisdom and the Local Mallet.
That guy's got a lot of wisdom to share.
Yeah, Local Mallet Caleb Konrad. Dude, what do you is everything okay?
Yeah, I'm just tired.
There's something on your ceiling behind you. I'm serious.
There's
There
something
really
in
is
my
something on the ceiling. If you look over your right, that would be your right shoulder. You see that?
That's just a smoke alarm.
Oh, thought it was a giant arachnoid.
No, we're good.
Foley, everybody knows when you come to the show on a Wednesday night, you give everybody the tin cup whiskey word of the week. And when you hear that word, you take a little sippy a tin cup mountain whiskey. And when you do sip, have a dang good time. But please sip responsibly. Luke Foley, what's the tin cup mountain whiskey word of the week?
Well, and kicking off the new segment, let's go with Watson or Worldwide. Or
Worldwide or Watson? Okay. Or how about anytime James says a word during his segment?
No,
Okay.
Any vowel.
Any vowel that James says.
Any noun.
3 W's.
www.
Watson Wisdom Worldwide.
All right, let's do that.
All right.
What do you think, Foley?
I think I'm gonna be calling some people off from work tomorrow.
You are. And now just slip in
Here's to
Foles
Watson.
DMs, and he will call your boss directly and call you off work. He'll only do it once for you, though. Remember that. Only once.
Once a year.
Once a year. That's it. Hey, we're glad you're back from Vegas. We're glad you made it.
Yeah.
I don't know if we could tell everybody where you got the tattoo, but I know you had a dang good time
In a tattoo shop.
Well,
Huh?
I did.
him and Matt Robertson share something in common now, don't they? There it is, right there. Hey, Foles. All right, let's say we put the power poles down. Let's bring Kyle Patrick, and then we got James Watson, we got Caleb Konrad, we got 3 like and share contests. I mean, it's all going on tonight, Foles. It's
Big
going
night.
on.
Big night.
Let's do it. Put those power poles down. Don't go anywhere. We're coming right back with the one and only Bassmaster Elite Series sophomore, Kyle Patrick. Be right back, Pascal.
See you guys.
Poles down.
There's a moment when you're faced with a challenge, and just solving the problem isn't good enough, even if that means breaking the rules and shredding apart conventional ways of thinking, all in the name of creating something truly remarkable. With this much control at its command, we didn't stop with just one. We created 2 incredible trolling motors. Introducing the new Power Pole Move brushless trolling motor.
This is the mountain, and this is mountain whiskey. Unspoiled, untamed, forever wild. There's no safety net, no way down. Up here, it's just man, and the mountain, and his tin cup. Tin Cup Whiskey. Mountain whiskey.
Want to know the difference between power bait and other soft plastics? Ask the fish. Berkeley scientists have. Thousands of flavors tested on thousands of fish. Natural. Man-made. Every bait that's ever hit the water. No matter the shape, size, or color, power bait is the only one that is scientifically proven. Fish bite and will not let go.
Omnia Premium Pro gives you the confidence to eliminate dead water on thousands of lakes across the U.S. Exclusively on the Omnia app, use 10 unique data layers containing critical real-time mapping information to see water temperature, water clarity, contours, lake bed hardness, and important weather data all in one place. Matched with Omnia's loyalty credit program on all your tackle and gear needs, this is the only app you need in your arsenal for success on the water.
Yes. Welcome back. Welcome back. This is the glorified version of a Bass and Talk show. Without further ado, we bring you the jubilant, the one and only sophomore of the Bassmaster Elite Series, Bass Galaxy. Give it up for our bud. It's Kyle Patrick. Yes. There's Kyle.
What is going on?
How you doing, bud?
Oh, living the dream, you know.
I can tell.
Yeah. Let me get my hat on.
Oh, that was good. I kind of liked the look.
No, it's good.
Yeah, did you? I figured it's more comfortable than having it like this. And
It was kind of J-Rock Trailer Park Boys.
Yes.
That was really good. I like
exactly.
it.
Dude,
And
you know what gets me more fired?
You got big gauges in. I say big white gauges for those listening.
That's a new addition. It's a new addition for this year's Elite
Kyle
Series
Patrick's back. All right.
Dude, I gotta tell you that tin cup commercial just makes me want to like go for a long hike and fish and freaking just have a good time. That fires
Yeah.
me up.
I'm telling
Yeah.
you. Run into
Yeah.
some cowgirls along the way, tell stories
Exactly.
about how the West was really won. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That voiceover fella is awesome.
It is.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
who
That
guy
voice.
is.
It's Tommy
Uh-huh.
Sanders.
I want him to give me life advice.
Hey,
You know
Kyle,
what you need.
Kyle, you're a
Get in the opens, boy. Yeah, you better get yourself in them opens right
You
now.
better get your shit together, boy.
10 cup mountain whiskey. We're gonna teach you right in the opens, boy.
Yes.
Get your ass in the opens. Learn how to be a bass professional. Yeah.
Where's this
Whitaker.
going?
You
Where's
know
this
what
going,
it-
Kyle?
Whitaker, you better get there. You know what it takes, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a man. Well, hell. Lost my train of thought.
Kyle Patrick, you are a good time. I mean,
Thanks,
you're
Pat.
a dang good time. You are. I mean, on the
You
water.
too.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I think it's in our Irish nature. Begosh, begun, begolly. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
The glass is half full with us, Kyle. And
I agree.
no, for real. And I think that's very important to be successful in bass fishing as well as life, because otherwise, you know, let's face it, you're in a sport where most of the time you're getting the crap kicked out of you. You know what I mean? I mean, because you're against a living, breathing creature.
Yeah, not only that, but just in general, like on the water and off the water. I mean, there's just so much coming at you, and like, you know, 50% of it sometimes is frustrating. So,
But hold on a minute. Hold on. Wait, stop the presses.
50. You are a glass.
Stop the presses.
Yeah,
exactly. Stop the presses, though. He's a scoper. He's a pinger and a periscoper. He should win every one of them.
Yeah, you should just
top 10
Oh,
every
God.
one of them.
I wish.
Right?
I wish. Pat, you
got
saw.
You got a live sonar.
I know. You actually saw me in a tournament that I used it pretty much more than any other tournament. You were in the boat with
time.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I only stayed in that one stretch pretty much the whole time.
Yeah.
That one, like, but
the juicy juice.
Yeah, like it I like to say, like, there's a certain age group where the scoping, like, I am right on the cusp. Like, you know, I always say, I didn't get it till I was like 22, because I'm 28 now. If you're like 24 now, 23 and under, your whole like fishing life, as far as like competing, was with scope. Like, there's a certain like age, like it should be like called like Gen Scope instead of Gen Z or whatever. Like, there is a certain group that truly that's all what they've done. So anyway, I'm interested to see how everything pans out this year on the elites, because I think it'll be a lot less than last
There's
year.
Generation Flipper. There's Generation Finesse. There's Generation.
Yep, exactly.
There's Generation
like Hackney's a Generation Flipper.
Yeah. No, I get it. That's very well said, Kyle. But of course, I was being sarcastic. I mean, your worst finishes though are all 70th place. I think, like, you have 3 70s last year.
Yep. Yeah, dude.
I'm
telling you, I cannot shake it. Every year I have 2 or 3 70s because.
What is that?
Dude, I don't know, man. If I could exchange those 70s with top 20s, I mean, I think I would have been right up there in top 5 of AOI.
Yeah.
And same goes for, I mean, in the opens, the last 2 years I finished before the elites. I finished 10th in AOI and then 10th in AOI to qualify the year after. And every one of those years I had a 70 to 90 twice or 3 times. And when I qualified, I only had 2, and the year I didn't, I had 3. Like, I can't shake it. I don't know what the.
Well, that's the $1 million question. Right,
and then they threw you a 7. They threw you a 7 at the Bassmaster Classic. It's better than 70.
Yes. Yes, I like that.
Aside from the 5 or 10 guys in the top there, like, that's everybody. You know, it's
right.
hard to
Right,
have
and
a
that's
year without one
yeah.
or two of those. I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's like baseball. You know, if you fail
100%.
10 times, you could be in the Hall of Fame. You know, it's like
Yeah, right.
kind of like
And the other thing that people have to take into account is like, I do a lot of stuff outside of going to lakes all the time. So like, right now I'm the past 3 weeks I've just been working, grinding. Like went to the Bass U seminar in South Carolina. Yeah, I came back to Boston to see the girlfriend, do some work. Like, so a lot of the lakes, like truly last year, other than where we were at for the opens, I think we went to 2 or 3 of the same fisheries. I hadn't seen them. So that's another factor to throw in there is like, as you get experience, for me, I feel like I can eliminate some of those 2 and 3 70, 70 pluses each year because I'll just have more and more experience. I'm thrilled with where I finished based on.
You did
know
great.
what I mean?
Kyle, you did absolutely amazing for a freshman, for a rookie.
Yeah.
And check this out. You referenced let me tell you a story. Let's just put it a little bit of story time here. Okay.
All right.
So here's the deal, Kyle. Bassmaster says, Pat, we want you to go hang out with the rookies this year and in the Elite Series and ride with them as marshal. And I was most looking forward to riding with you because at the first few events we met and hit it off, when you'd been on the show. I felt like we shared a lot of commonalities,
Yeah.
So I'm riding with you, and this guy's a scoper, Pat. You know what I mean? Kyle Patrick's a scoper. Check him out. All right. So I'm out there with you, and dang right, you're scoping, and you're doing well. Here's 2 things I learned. That your best spot with your biggest fish was the most obvious spot on the lake, and you didn't even hardly use your scope.
I know.
Okay? And then you use the most basic technique to catch the fish. And may I give away your little 1-2 punch? May I? And you describe it. First off, the obvious spot is like a point right outside the takeoff. I mean, right there. Slap, rip, wrap.
It's so it is. If you
water.
Oh my God. And I remember that because I didn't practice it, but right when I got there and day 1 of practice, I kind of was going like 30 miles an hour past the spot. And it's so obvious. Smith.
Okay.
Yeah. It's so, this place is so obvious that like, it's one of those places you don't even fish because you're like, it's so obvious that it's not even worth my time. And then I forgot about it and I'm running into, and I look at Pat and I said, hey, I like anomalies. And I pulled into the spot because it's truly an anomaly.
He called it the anomaly.
Area. Yeah. I called it the anomaly spot.
Yeah.
I pulled in there, I catch a 290, which was a good one. Mm-hmm. And then the next 3 days I catch a 3. Then the third day I catch a 4 to get me in the cut. And the last day it kind of petered out. But to your point, like, I don't want to get too far into it, but those spots are going to start to come back in a big way in the next 5 to 10 years.
Isn't that something though?
Yeah, the obvious.
Yeah. It's like literally the spot that gave you the most confidence and sparked the most energy was not the one you were pinging on all day, but the one you just went up on there and just threw a couple rando Calrissians at them. And here's the deal. Like, you're using basic stuff, Kyle. 2 baits.
Always.
Okay? Spin pull drop shot, bait caster drop shot.
That's it, dude.
LFP.
And that's why, like, when I was at the seminar in South Carolina for Bass U, I'm just talking. I'm like, I find myself almost trying to go into depth further than I need to because it's hard for people to understand how simple I keep it, right? Like, a lot of people, I think 90% of the problem with 70% of anglers that tournament fish, okay, is that they overcomplicate it. Whether it's bait or, it's just so
weekend elites, it don't matter.
Yeah,
it does not matter. Like, when I go out there, I catch them on 3 things. I qualify for the elites on a jig and a power shot. And this year on the elites, I threw, for the first time, I had a minnow because it was a minnow schedule. It really was. But I had a minnow, a drop shot on a spinner, a drop shot on a casting rod, a Senko, that's a big one,
Yeah.
and a jig. That's it. Those 5, which is simple. I mean, we all know how to fish all those baits.
I forgot the jig. And I should have mentioned that you love throwing that big jig, that 3/4.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, that 3/4.
What's the difference between the spin drop shot and the casting drop shot?
Good question.
What are you
this
doing
is a good
differently?
one, Ryan.
That's a good question. The only difference.
Let me tell please the importance of which one of those you qualified for the elites with.
Yeah. So I qualified for the elites on a casting setup. Straight fluoro, 20-pound sunline, straight throughout. Everyone goes braid to fluoro. I do straight fluoro, 20-pound, and I throw it on a thicker worm, like a big, like sort of a wider worm, because the hook's bigger. So I don't want like the hook to have too much of a presence when I'm throwing like on my caster. So any worm that's bigger or
is this like a Texas style?
Yeah, it's the same thing you'd fish like with a robo
This is
worm.
the tail off of the worm from Kyle's boat, by the way. I'm gonna throw it to you, Ryan.
Okay.
For real, true story.
So
can you see it? That's your worm.
So like that worm it's 6 inches, right?
No, the brand.
Yeah, it's from last year. Missile Baits, their magic worm. They paired up with Robo this year. I'm going to be experimenting with a bunch of different worms. I actually partnered with X Zone and their Deception worm, similar style. But when I throw a power shot, I use a thicker hook, sort of similar, like similar in size to like like one you'd pitch with, like a 3/0, like heavy cover hook, and I rig it. Yeah. And so with a bigger hook, because I'm using big line 7.6, 7.4 rod, I want a little bit bigger of a worm. But then anything like spotted bass or like super finicky clearwater, largemouth, I'll go to a spinning rod with basically the same setup, but the worm is skinnier. Like I'll use like the Deception worm or a Robo worm, and the hook is thinner. So basically it's the same thing. The only difference is, I guess what cover I'm around or the size of the fish. Like in Texas this year at the Classic, I will be throwing a green pumpkin blue or blue worm on 20-pound test on a straight bait caster. I would say 80% of the time.
So it's just for cover. Like when you're around, you got to pull a fish away from it.
Yep. And then sometimes like if I try to get a fish to bite and it won't bite, I'll throw this a spinning pole just to see if that the size of the worm matters, or if it's like more of a finesse.
Different weight?
I like a 1/4 on the spinning setup. No, not on both. You can hardly cast it.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. So I throw like the lowest I'll go is a 3/8. Like I've never caught a 10-pounder, but I've caught like I think 8 to 10, 9 pushing 10s. Every one of them has been on a power shot. Every single one of them.
Nice.
Yeah.
And may I say that the commonality that I see between a lot of the Bassmaster Elite Series rookies last year, a lot of them were throwing that worm that Kyle's describing. But also, Ryan, you know what color that is?
It's Aaron's magic.
That's Aaron's color.
Yeah.
But look at the belly. Can I tell him?
It's different. Yeah. It's different than the regular Aaron's magic.
Yeah, it's got like that. What's that belly on it? It's got like a white belly, Kyle.
Yeah. Yep. It's got so like
or something like that.
Yeah, correct. So I've got like 3 colors. Aaron's Morning Dawn, that sort of like pink with the white belly. Then I'll throw a green pumpkin blue or straight blue worm.
Okay.
And then I'll throw a PB&J, like a kind of a purple, anything purpley, like lighter blue, like that PB&J. That's the 3 worms I throw. And
I just got myself on the back there for a second. I'm colorblind, and I just nailed it on a 1-inch piece of plastic.
Oh yeah, you did good, right? I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Real good job.
All right.
Good job.
Anyway.
Heck yeah.
Sorry.
Hey, Kyle.
I'm usually wrong.
No, you got it. You got it that time. Hey, Kyle. Let's remind everybody there's 3 like and shares, Kyle. First off, tin cup whiskey box of goodness to the door. Second off, KVD line and lure box to the door. Third off, Kyle Patrick, what are you giving away? What's going on?
Yeah. So one of my partners, K&K Customs, they have their own power pole lights. Their power pole, it goes on Raptors. It goes on any of the shallow water anchors.
Okay.
Dude, they're so bright, it like is painful to even look at. Super easy install. I've got 2 of them to give away, so you can give them to one person, or we can split it up for 2 different people.
Are you gonna like drive
And
by Lee Livesey and bright them during the event in the
yes,
morning with your new
I
pole?
actually have a funny I have a funny so I have this horn. Hold on, I have this horn that I install there that Elite Sonar, they rigged my boat. They installed this horn in my boat that is so loud, and I'm gonna mess around with Lee this year with it. It's gonna be funny.
Lee likes to chirp you, dude. He likes
Yeah,
to bust
yeah,
your chops. I could tell.
yeah. He does. He does. It's fun. Yeah,
So now you're gonna bright him and hit him with the horn.
I'm gonna hit him freaking so hard with that horn, Pat.
It's like a train horn.
Yes. It's a train horn in my boat. Like, it's so loud,
Oh,
dude.
that's awesome.
It is
You
obscene.
think they'll get a call from Lisa about that horn? I think you might.
Probably. I
think
might.
you might. Anyway, hey, like and share the live Facebook feed. 3 chances plus Kyle's giving away 2 bright lights for your power poles. And also something from your kitchen. True story.
Yep. Yeah, there will be a sneaky kitchen prize, and I'll include some baits in there just to get you guys fired up, but there will be one item from the kitchen in
Like
that
and
box.
share the live Facebook feed.
Tell me that brand again of
Of
those
what?
lights. People are asking.
Yeah, it's K&K Customs. They do like
K&K?
marine performance. Yep, K&K Customs. They do like marine performance product stuff. They sell like lithium batteries. They sell a whole bunch of stuff for like graph mounts, like all that stuff.
K&K Customs KP Signature Series.
Nice.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
Illuminato. The Illuminato.
yeah, Illuminato.
Hey, listen to this, buddy. 53 pounds, 11 ounces. What does that mean to you? Think about it hard. 53 pounds, 11 ounces. Think about it. I'm really putting you on the spot.
No. I got it. Is that Ozarks?
Yes, sir. Good job.
I knew it. I
Yes, sir.
calculated it in there, and I'm like, at 21 day, 18. Yeah.
That was let's face it, that was a life moment. You
It
won
was.
the Opens at the Lake
Yeah.
of the Ozarks. That was the boost that helped you qualify for the elites and allowed you to fish your first Bassmaster Classic.
Yeah, that was
What
a
an event.
cool event. So cool. So cool. Every fish was caught on a jig. Every single one of them. And I just love that because I sometimes will I think about that tournament. Every once in a while I'll be driving at like 4 a.m. and I just think about one of the fish catches and I'm like, oh God, take me back. That was such a fun event.
Did you feel, I mean, we've talked about this before, but there's that feeling you get that champions get at that higher level. Okay, this is the Opens, not quite the elites, but I mean, you're competing against quite a few anglers, so quite an accomplishment there. Did you have that feeling of victory before the victory happened? Did that happen to you at that event?
So I mean, the way I go out to these tournaments, like, and some people may be like, you're crazy, but I care so much about consistency at the end of the year, like, rather than winning. So I honestly, Pat, have never thought before a tournament, I'm going to win this one ever.
Did you think that on that third day? Like, did you think
On
you
the
had it
third
one day,
day,
like 3 pounds, I think.
Yeah,
Remember, 2 or 3 pounds?
Yeah, and Dice K, I think his name Dice K. He almost beat me on the glide bait. He was chucking a giant glide bait, and it wasn't updating bass tracks. When I got back to the docks, I'm like, I've got it won by 9 pounds. But then when he weighed in, I said, oh my God, he had like two or three sixes he caught. But,
Yeah.
but it's tough. Like, I remember I said to Jamie Bruce, we were launching. I don't know if he heard this, and I'll text him after the show. But I remember he was leading. He was in front of me. He was the first, and we were at the dock, and I said, "Hey, Jamie," and he looked back. He said, "I'm coming for you," and like, it was a joke at the time. But then when I like idled out with him, I'm like, I'm gonna beat Jamie Bruce, and that was my goal. The day was
Wow.
I'm gonna go out and kick Jamie Bruce's
The
ass.
Canadian San Juan is done.
And me and Jamie, I love Jamie. He's such a good dude. We're buds, and
And you
so
were
it
on
was
the
just
open
like,
show before you were on Stray Cast, I believe, weren't you?
yeah,
With
yeah,
Jamie and Choda.
yep,
Yeah.
yep. We had some fun times together, us that group. And yeah, it was good.
What do
You know, and
mean, Choda?
hey, look, I got to tell you, like fishing the opens was stressful, but when I look back at that year, like it was some of the best times of my life. Truly, truly some of the best times of my life. Meeting all these
Nice.
people, kind of coming up into the game, like it. There's a certain feeling of like I'm in this, and like I may not make it, but like this is just it's fun to know that I'm in the middle of chasing the dream, you know? That it's a
like
cool, yeah.
I like it. Okay,
It's a club for sure.
One of the coolest times of your life. I like it. Give me a statement that describes your first year of the Bassmaster Elite Series. You said that was one of the best times of your
Yeah.
life in the opens. What's a statement that describes your first year, your freshman year, your rookie year of the Elite?
Yeah, I would say most exhilarating, or you know, that's a tough one. It was a mix of emotions because I had a little bit of imposter syndrome in a way, because
What does that mean?
all of it I felt so like I've never been someone to like, you know, wrap my boat fishing in a club tournament, right?
Oh,
Or anything
okay.
like that. I felt it was weird because I'd looked up to these guys for so long and had so much respect for the sport of bass fishing and like everyone that came before me, that now I'm in their shoes, or at least maybe their shoes 10 years ago or 20 years ago, like starting out my career on the Elite Series. And I felt like, not that I didn't deserve it, but a little bit of like, wow, this is kind of happening right now. And
Yeah.
like, do I deserve to be here? Right. And
I
then
get
as
it.
the
Yeah, you were
season
like that. You were like that guy on his first night in jail on Shawshank Redemption. I ain't supposed to be here.
yeah.
I'm not supposed to be here.
Yeah. And then, you know, as season progressed, and I already had some buddies on the Elites, but like, you know, I kind of felt a little like the comfort factor came in, and like that was another year that I won't forget, because, you know, meeting all these guys that I used to, you know, watch on TV, to now like, you know, having a cold one and hanging out and, you know, shooting the shit like that stuff's just so fun. And I really enjoy fishing on the Elite Series, like a ton. It's a lot of work and it's stressful, but I just love being like, I'm just excited to be doing it, you know?
It's evident. I mean, it's evident. Like, okay, so like, you know, and Ike and Ellie will walk by and be like, "Hey, Kyle," and you're like, "Hey, Mike." You know, it's like,
yeah.
wow, he knows you, doesn't he? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you're
exactly.
Buds, you're buds.
Yeah,
it's pretty
yeah.
awesome. Let me ask you a very, very generic question.
Okay.
Why do you bass fish? Why do you bass fish, Kyle?
That is a tough one, Pat. You're always good with the questions. You really are.
I don't know. Come on. I mean, you could do other stuff. You know, you come from a solid family. You got good friends in different industries.
Yeah.
I mean, why do you bass fish?
Honestly, Pat, I think because, and I just wrote an article about this on Bassmaster. I think because I'm so high energy and go that I need to be. I can't be in an office. I cannot work in an office, and I have to be doing something that I'm passionate about in order to succeed. Because if I don't, I'm gonna just blow it, right? Yeah, I'll be miserable. That's the thing. I refuse to be miserable. When I find myself getting down about things, like I have to go do something that I'm happy about, because and that's how bass fishing, like I was like, do I jump into the opens and I'm going to work this side job while fishing the opens, when I could be, you know, climbing a corporate ladder, doing something like that. It was a matter of like, I don't really care about being a millionaire or having a bunch of clout in finance or whatever it may be. Like, I just want to love what I do every day. That's why I bass fish. And because I love bass fishing.
I love it. Here's what you said. And this is amazing. When you're down, you have to do something that brings you up right away. Are you, because you don't want to feel like that. You don't want to be miserable. So that's in bass fishing or life, right? You're a good time. You can tell you're in a good time. What's something in bass fishing that picks you up, and what's something in life that picks you up?
In bass fishing, this is going to be a weird answer, but being right on the brink, like when you make a few casts and you catch a few fish, and that like light bulb goes off where like, I think I know the pattern or what I'm going to do. And you like go to find more of it, or you're like right on the brink of like being like, this is the deal. That moment brings me up. That's what I live for. Like of not quite being like knowing what's going on the lake, but like being very close. I love that moment.
That toe in the line.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I like having a little
element of the unknown.
Yes.
Keeps you going. Okay, that's a good time.
That's why I love bass
you.
fishing. And that's why I love bass fishing, because there's always sort of an element of unknown.
Yeah. Maybe what about life? Maybe that's the same thing in life too for you.
Yeah. That is the same thing, because I mean, my girlfriend makes fun of me for it all the time. Like I don't plan ahead well, like months and months and months and ahead, because I just live in the present moment.
I love that,
because I can't do it any other way. Right.
It's too much for my brain to handle. I can't
exactly.
I cannot handle any more than what's in front of me one day at a time, or I blow up.
Yeah, man. It's like, why am I thinking about next week? I'm here right now. Right now.
Right now. And I think that's partly why I'm successful on the water, because I'm so in the moment. I mean, Pat watched me. Like, if I'm skipping docks, I'm skipping docks. If I'm like, for example, Pat was with me on Smith. I was live scoping. I mean, I am live scoping. Like, I am focused on it. Oh, and that's the
on it.
I'm with
laser focus.
Nothing drives me more crazy than if I'm fishing a team tournament and my partner says, "What are you thinking about next?" I'm like, "I'm not thinking about next."
Yeah, exactly. And next just comes next, and next just comes to you. Like for me, my next move, it just happens to where like I'll be fishing and then boom, pull the trolling motor up and go. And sometimes I don't even know where I'm going, but I know it's not where I was fishing. And I just kind of
exactly. I like it. Take a drive. Yeah.
I like your attitude. It reminds me of Willie Nelson's. You want to know why?
Why?
Willie Nelson once said, Ryan, you might have heard this quote. He says, "I don't worry about nothing." He says, "I don't worry about nothing." He goes, "I tried it a little bit, but when I worried about stuff, I realized it didn't ever fix nothing."
Right.
So I just stopped worrying about stuff. And everything worked out all right.
I try to channel the mentality off, and it doesn't work.
Well, actually, it takes a bit.
It's great. It's a great thought.
Does. It's so true.
Yeah. But here's the thing about that, Pat. I will have moments sprinkled throughout my, say, year, like 2025. I'll have 3 or 4 moments where that kind of catches up to me at times, and I have to sit down and be like, okay, like, whether it be finances, because I don't worry. And then I'm like, oh, I've got $6,000 in the bank and I owe a deposit. Yikes. Like that type of stuff. Like, you know what I mean?
I get it. But then you have to check yourself. It seems to work out. Thank God, knock on wood, praise the bass gods. Right? Help us race God. Thank you.
Yes.
All that good stuff.
I pray to the bass gods all the time too.
Oh yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, believe me. I've witnessed you on the boat do it. For real. Remember? Yeah. You caught a big one. It worked.
Yes, I did.
True story.
I did. Yeah, it is.
I mean, you got it captured. Hey, it's been the off season.
Yeah.
Winding down, getting stuff ready. Describe a day in the life of Kyle Patrick in the off season. Like, what's your off season day? You get up, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, I wake up early, somewhat early, 8:30, and I where I work, I do a lot of like computer stuff in the off season because that's my time to kind of
Like Call of
get
Duty,
everything.
Roblox, things like that.
Excel sheets, like your tax stuff, Excel stuff for I lay out like media stuff for all my sponsors, like January through December. I lay out like requirements just because like I said, I live in the moment. So when I'm fishing, I don't do anything to prepare. So I got to do my like preparation stuff, in the off season. And so like whether that's contracts, talking to sponsors, getting new sponsors, and then all the like Excel work. And then, I work for a Powerhouse Lithium, so I do a lot of a lot of things for them, like dealer stuff, pro
You're a
staff
mover
stuff.
and a shaker.
Yeah. In the off season's busy for me. Like I work.
Were you good
Monday
in school?
through Friday.
Were you a good student? Did you get good grades and stuff?
No, I hated school. I got okay grades in college. I got a 3.4 average.
Oh, that's
not
pretty
terrible.
Good.
No, yeah. I mean, but you know how it is. Like,
what did Wesley Gore get? What was his GPA?
I don't know.
Yes, was he over 3.4 or under 3.4?
No, I would say if you asked him, he would say, I don't know, buddy, 2.8.
I was probably like a 5.2.
Yeah,
5.2. They didn't even make a scale from me.
No, but like dude, yeah, yeah.
I love West, dude.
I just got through college or school. Like that was my thing. Get through school so I can do what I want.
I wore a very long brimmed baseball cap and sat next to the smartest people in the class and just tried to keep it that way. You know what I mean? Hey, speaking of class, you got a pen and paper with you?
Just like you told me, Pat.
Look at you. All right, here's what we're gonna do. And
I feel like I'm in school again. I feel like I'm in school again.
See how we segued that? That's how you do it.
I like that.
All right. We did this with Ben Milliken. I can't remember who else we did this with, but we value your opinion in the Bass Galaxy as you made it through your sophomore or your freshman year. Now you're a sophomore.
Mm-hmm.
Your opinion. Write down as quickly as they come to your mind, please. 3 things we need in bass fishing and 3 things we do not need in bass fishing. 3 things we need and 3 things we don't need, Kyle Patrick.
Not need and need. All right.
Don't need and need. Andy, you got any Danzig music to play while this is on?
Yeah.
You got the beginning part of Mother?
That's perfect thinking music.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Boom. Ryan, grab that guitar. Just play open A's. You like Danzig? He's big where you're from.
Well, yeah, he's from out that direction.
I believe so.
Yeah. Misfits.
Sling, slang, slibbity, slew. Where'd you go to college again, Kyle?
Hobart.
Hobart.
I played soccer in college at Hobart in Geneva, New York, right on Seneca Lake and right next to Cayuga Lake.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Andy Ellenberg, our producer, the Ginger Ninja, lives in Hobart. Did you know that?
Indiana.
Really?
Indiana, home of Lake George. Andy's the king of Lake George.
Yes, he is.
By the way.
Yes, he is.
By the way. Hey, if you're just tuning in, like and share this live Facebook feed. Kyle Patrick giving away 2 lights for your shallow water anchors for your power poles. What's the name of the company again? K&K Customs? K&K Customs. Kyle's also giving away something cool from his kitchen as well as some tackle. And we're giving away a box of Tin Cup Mountain Whiskey to your door, as well as a box of line and lure. Like and share the live Facebook feed. Your chance to win is at the end. James Watson, Worldwide Wisdom, coming up, along with Local Mallets.
All right, I'm ready. I got 3 not needs, 2 needs, and I'm going to come up with the 3rd one off the cuff.
I got it. I like it. Okay,
yeah.
and so what are you going with first? Then you're not that we don't need.
We'll do not needs. Yeah, we'll do not needs.
There's 3 of them from Kyle Patrick. 3 things bass fishing doesn't need.
I'm going to say this first is more rules.
More rules.
Don't need more rules.
No more rules.
Do not need more rules.
The ones that are in place are fine.
Not necessarily, but the more. Do you want me to go into why I said these, or do it after?
Yes.
Yeah. Go in. Just briefly explain each one, please.
So for more rules, what I mean by that, there's a fine line between having black and white rules that are there. Like you place a rule and it says, Kyle, no, I'll pretend like I'm a high schooler again. No video games past 8 o'clock. So that's a black and white rule.
Right.
Before 8 o'clock, I can
Or you're
play
grounded.
video games. After 8 o'clock, I can't play video games. And then, playing on my iPad versus my TV, it's the same thing. So at 8 o'clock, I can't do all of those things. So we need less. We do not need more rules in that all the little tiny rules that if you keep writing all these tiny rules, it becomes such a weird gray area as opposed to putting in a rule that says there is no because the more rules, the harder it is to police.
Right.
Right. And that's just the fact. Like if you have a black and white rule that says if you get information on any lake or any help that's helping you on that lake, you're DQ'd, period. So if they're like, oh, well, I talked to a guy about this and like, no, like you're DQ'd. Like that's a black and white rule, right?
Done.
Done.
See ya.
So we don't need more rules.
Planting structure done.
Yeah, exactly. We don't need more rules, but we need rules that are, black and white and policed.
Okay.
So that's
very good. That's a great
Yeah.
one. Well, okay, there it is. No more rules. Black and white, keep and stick with them. Okay, number
Yep.
2.
We do not need more technology, and I'll go into this slightly.
Oh wow. Okay.
And that's I'm don't get it twisted. I like LiveScope. I like using it. I have fun, but I just see potentially it getting the innovation just continuing to turn, and I think there's going to be a very big disconnect between the bass fishing that I grew up watching, like the Hackneys, the OG Swindle, the Denny Brower. Like we're already a little bit away from that old school, but like I can see it going so far away that it'll kind of ruin the sport if we continue on the path of every 2 or 3 years having new stuff come out to where, are we even going to need to fish or know how to fish? Someone can just come in. And so I think there's a fine line between having enough technology and then too much, because it can take away from a lot of things. And I'll go into that in the need category. But
so limit it where it is.
Stop now.
Limit it now.
Yeah. I think there just needs to be, and they have a technology committee, Bass does now, and that's great. And I think it's
hold on a
needed. But
second. So you're saying limit technology with fish finders or locators or
I think in general we just have to be
like a electric outboard,
boats and baits,
a Mercury or a Yamaha.
Again, that's that. Yeah, you're right. So I guess specifically like that stuff's okay, but I think there just we need to be careful about certain technology that makes it less skillful. If you make bass fishing
eyes under the water,
I think
if you make fishing to the point where then it's not going to be hard to make it anymore. And then it's just going to be like, you can walk in and say, I'm going to, fish the opens. And I think we're on there's a fine line between it. That's all.
Yeah, Kyle, what you said earlier, you said one of your favorite things about bass fishing was the mystery of it.
Yeah.
Right. And if you take too much of the mystery out, it's not fun.
Yeah.
So you remember the commercial with Roland Martin based on the Mean Joe Green Pepsi or Coke commercial?
You don't work them; they work for you.
They work for you.
A different one.
Yeah, well, that one. So Roland throws the kid a bag of the Senkos.
Yeah,
So what it's come to is that kid could now kick Roland's ass if technology.
If it gets to a point. Yeah, and I don't think and look, I don't think we're there. I don't think we're there yet. Just want to make that clear. Like LiveScope, people think it is still so challenging to find fish, to catch fish. Yeah, it's a little easier from a standpoint of like we were next to impossible to find offshore fish that are pelagic, like what people are targeting now. But we maybe came raise the bar just a little bit. There's still so much unknown. I'm convinced there is so much unknown, and I think we could get to a point where finding fish becomes so efficient that there won't be any unknown. anymore at all.
We
None.
can't have that. What's your third one, Kyle?
We don't need more leagues.
No more
I'll
leagues.
tell you why. No more
Okay.
leagues. No more leagues. Because I mean, it sort of goes into the dilution of the greats and like of the future greats, right? Like if you have, you're not a pro football player unless you play in the NFL.
Right.
That's
correct.
a fact. That is just a fact, right? Period.
MLB too. Yeah.
MLB, right? Like so.
NHL. Yeah.
I mean, this is going to be. I mean, I don't care what people think. I just think at a certain point, it's gonna I mean, I like NPFL, MLF's great, whatever. Bassmaster's my favorite, but like if we continue to introduce more leagues, it's already diluted to the point where it's harder to get sponsors for guys, and I just think that we have to stop and
one pro league.
I think
one pro league.
I'm 100% with you.
I mean,
and
one
take
pro-
it to the locals too. Like take it to the local leagues. Same mentality too. You don't need, we live in an area where there's very few bodies of water, and it seems like every year, every other year, somebody's starting a new league. It's
Exactly.
Like, we only have so many boats, man.
Right.
Like, can we all just get together and fish one big tournament every month? Where
That's the other
somebody
thing.
that wins actually makes some money.
100%, because, and that's a great point. Is the money will go up like crazy? Can you imagine if take Elon Musk. Imagine if Elon Musk came in and said, "I'm buying Bass, MLF, and PFL, and merging the whole thing into one organization." So there's going to be 5 or 6 leagues that go tier from the top all the way down. I'm just saying, like $1 billion or whatever.
Perfect
world. It'd be awesome.
And perfect world. This is perfect world.
Or like what?
And I'm not saying we need to
get
get rid of the NPFL or MLF or any of the leagues, but we all need to kind of come together in a way so that it's a tiered system to where the guys at the top are comfortable, right? And then not comfortable, like financially comfortable, and have everything they need, and then it tiers down, and it would basically be the same, I'd imagine, from a sponsor dollar standpoint from each of the guys. Like, I don't know.
I think you might be on the right page. What's the 3 things Bass fishing needs?
More personality.
More personality, like Kyle Patrick.
Yes.
Okay.
No. And it doesn't. I want more diverse personalities out there. I feel like it, and this kind of ties into the technology thing. Like, people aren't showing baits anymore. People aren't talking about baits as much. People are, I find that like there's just not. It's not like it used to be back in the day. And I'm biased because I'm such a fan of watching 2008 Elite Series to 2016 or whatever. But I feel like there was a lot more. People hid stuff, but there was a lot more interaction with the camera and getting the people going, and all the clips you see from sort of that 2010 to 2018 time for me was, and maybe that's just, and this could be because I'm being nostalgic, right? Like I'm thinking about my days when I used to be obsessed with watching that sort of has teetered for me. And it might also be because I'm competing on the Elite Series, so it's different now. I'm not watching where I want to be because I'm there, but I just feel like there needs to be a little more
diverse personality.
Yeah. I'll watch a tournament. Sometimes I'm like, dude, this is so boring.
I like it. Here's the thing.
I'm learning, but I'm not excited. You know what I mean?
That's one of the reasons we started Stray Cast ages ago, to get to know more of these diverse personalities. That's great. Give us another need. In
I guess that kind of goes along. I had trouble with the need. More storylines, backstories within the tournament. I feel like this goes back to my nostalgic thing. I feel like there was more storylines to the tournurnament win, or
he grew up in Deep Branch, Arkansas.
This guy's
the gator tail worm.
For example, Bill Lowen's story, right? Of how and there is that still, but I just feel like it would be cool if there was more More
highlighting personalities and more storylines. Okay.
Yep. And then I think what the last thing it needs, and I just thought of this off the rip, is maybe a little bit of a change up at the same time. So like the tournament, the way that we understand tournaments, right? Like you see what they're doing with this new indoor golf league simulator thing.
Yes.
Have you watched any of that?
I have.
So that's the PGA saying that's golf saying like we're still golf, like PGA, LIV, whatever. But like this is a spin on golf. And MLF kind of did that with that series where they gave the guys, I think they gave them like all like the base level of the boats, Phoenix, Nitros.
Oh yeah, the cups.
Whatever. Remember that? The cups.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It was so great.
Random
That was when it was cool.
Blast off. And it was when it was cool. I mean, now it's not, but that was cool. And so I feel like exactly. I used to tune into that every time. I had a DVR.
Yeah, everybody.
I had a DVR.
Somebody got greedy. Started flipping boat docks.
Yep. They tried to go too big.
Dude, and that was exciting. And don't get me wrong, I still love the Elite Series and watching the regular tournaments because that's just pinnacle. But having a spinoff like that new golf league, I forget what it's called, but it's like there's hype, people are watching, it's fast, it's not as like drawn out, right? Like a normal like 18-hole round, and it's similar to tournament fishing.
Right.
It's not as drawn out. Maybe it's, we pick one section of the lake and we do like a different deal where there's 20 boats at a time. They get 2 hours each, and then the next day the order reverses. Like just something new and that's quick that keeps people engaged. And I think that would draw a lot more money to the sport and eyeballs.
Yep,
you're not wrong.
I 100% agree.
You're not wrong.
I've been trying to push for that whole, what was it, the top 150s where they had two pros in a boat back in the day.
There's a lot of variables.
That stuff in Bassmaster would be fantastic.
We need a seniors league too. A seniors league would be awesome.
Dude, can you imagine like
the drama?
It's a 100-boat field, and then each person's the co-angler for half the day. So like I'm in the back of Lee's boat and just like dragging my drop shot, and he's freaking, doing whatever. And we're at the end of the day, it's you get your co-angler weight plus your front of the boat weight, like pro weight, and it's the Elite Series. Like
speaking of entertainment,
and you would just have
in bass fishing.
You would have
speaking of good times, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time now.
Thank you, Alan Hoare. Megabucks is what I was
Megabucks. Without further ado, may we bring to you the premiere of James Watson's worldwide wisdom. Here he is, the one and only, from his compound in Missouri. It's James Watson. Welcome worldwide.
What's up, James?
Thanks for having me. Hello, Kyle.
How are you, James?
I'm doing good. How are you, little buddy?
Yeah, are you so proud tonight, James?
Yeah. How's Andy doing?
How are you, Andy? James is asking.
I'm coming. Doing good, buddy.
Oh, okay, good. Sorry.
He's seen it on our toes. Hey, Bass Galaxy, this is a brand new segment, once a month segment on the Stray Cast Show, and it's called Watson's Worldwide Wisdom, where James gives us a couple of things on his mind. He tells us, he's going to tell us what's floating his boat, and he's going to tell us what's grinding his gears.
What's sinking his ship.
What's sinking his ship.
Boy.
What's got his panties in a twist.
I don't want my panties in a twist.
That hurts.
Who does?
If I was there right now, I'd give you the biggest titty twister.
You'd have to catch me first, J-Dubs.
But the high-class Bassmaster memes has named Kyle Patrick #1 titty monster in the bass fishing world.
He sure is.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Dude,
he sure is.
You know what? Pat accused me of running that, and I'm like, no, but God, it seems like because they use me for memes all the time.
They're so in love with
and
you.
It is.
I thought it was
you're an easy target.
I still don't have clarity on who exactly is behind it. I'm pretty sure I know, but I'm not 100%.
Yeah.
You're an easy target, Kyle.
Yeah, I know.
Titties and
At least
beer,
I accept
Kyle
it.
Patrick.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. Worldwide Watson.
Oh boy.
Titties
Well,
and dragons with you.
dude, I tell you what, guys, I'm kind of excited, and Kyle, I've been listening to you for the last 5 minutes. I'm kind of excited about this MPFL run. I'm just that's what I really got excited about here the last few weeks was just going out, like you said, Kyle, and just fishing. Yes, we have the GPS map. I don't have to put the map in my hand on the steering wheel like we used to could, and let the GPS, now, the disclaimer, it always says, don't rely on this for all your navigation needs because you could die.
Yeah.
But I am really excited about not having to have a live scope in the mix.
It started. Did it rekindle the fire?
And Pat, let me just say to that, I think that is one. I don't know, James, if you heard me talking about like different being like having like a different, more exciting style of fishing, like that new golf thing they've got going on in the simulator. That is no live scope. I'm tuning into NPFL live every time I can for that reason. Because it's a twist now. It's new to everyone. Like we haven't seen no live scope events in what, 5 years?
It's not, Kyle, it's new to you. It's not new to old fuckers like me.
No, it's not new to me, but I'm saying in the past 5 years.
I don't know. You really think 5 years? Because I think at least 3.
What is it, 2020?
3.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I'd say about 3. But it
okay.
is.
Right, but that feels like a long time for people that have keeping up with bass fishing and all the tournaments going on. That feels like an eternity. I mean, how many tournaments have there been in 3 years between MLF and Bassmaster? It's like,
well, it seems like nearly all of them have had a live scope as the inevitable champion. Not very many have been won fishing, and so I'm super excited about the MPFL. I would rather have my ass kicked, as I will, by guys that are just plain fishing versus the live. I call it the live scope factor. So pretty stoked and pretty happy about that, guys.
Okay, so that's what's floating your boat right now in bass fishing.
My boat is floated.
I mean, you're feeling some blood flow again.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm about to push off.
Yeah.
Sail into the sunset.
Yeah, this is a rejuvenation of James Watson, proper bassin' man.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna see
forward to it.
Some spoon dock jacking, hopefully, some square bill, shallow running wood plugs
over the cables.
And let me just say, whether you agree with it or not, it's just gonna be a different deal to watch. Like what I was saying about watching someone fish boat docks, and that's trademarked James Watson Company. But also, fishing, fishing bushes, fishing, like it's just going to add such an exciting factor, which I would call the fun factor. It's just going to add a fun factor to watching.
It is.
And whether you agree with, whether you love live scope or not, no one can deny that it's going to be cool to watch a no live scope event. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like to poo-poo live scope. You don't see me going out there jumping up and down and wanting to ban the live scope. But you touched on it, Kyle. You touched on it real hard there about when is enough enough. I mean, people, for crying out loud, guys, they banned the Alabama rig from professional bass fishing. Can anybody raise their hand and tell me why they banned the Alabama rig from professional bass fishing?
Because it was very non-realistic looking.
No.
Sarcastically said. It looked like nothing. Like a chandelier with gym shoes.
No.
I remember an episode with Aaron Martins where he made the only argument that I kind of agreed with
on Stray Cass.
Yeah, on Stray Cass. He said the Alabama rig was banned because it ruined so many fun, great techniques. Like he felt like it ruined the jerkbait bite.
Oh,
because he's like, if the jerkbait bite's on, A rig's gonna beat it.
Yeah.
So no one's throwing jerkbaits anymore.
I know what James is going to say before he starts.
You know what I'm getting ready to say, Kyle.
What is it?
What was he going to say, Kyle?
Hold on. That's such a bad argument against the live scope argument James bringing, because James is going to say live scope ruined fish and boat docks. It ruined fishing shallow brush.
That signal shoots up underneath boat docks.
The A rig is a $25 bait. It did require a handful of lead heads, an umbrella rig itself, some plastic baits, some 20, 25-pound line or braided line if you wanted to do that. But what it did is it made a less or a novice angler now had the chance to lob that thing out the back of the boat or the front of any boat, anywhere at any time. A novice angler was a threat to professional bass fishing. That's why it was banned. Now, and again, I'm not poo-pooing. Let's just talk about some real hard facts. It's a $25 bait that Andy Posh had invented, all right, or got from the saltwater market.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something that's a game changer when it comes down to the bottom dollars. Another league will form someday, Kyle, and it's called capitalism. And that league will form because of a desire for people to sit at a high dollar table. The NPFL came about because there was a lot of guys sitting on the sideline that wanted to fish at a high dollar table. So capitalism's always going to win in the bass fishing world. Capitalism won when it comes to the bass fishing world in the form of electronics.
Mm-hmm.
Electronics, the people that are paying the money, it's no secret, have won. They do not want you to get rid of LifeScope, even though it's only a $1,600 addition to your arsenal. I'm glad the NPFL's taken that $1,600 and said you can sit at the house with that. We don't need it. But it's crazy that young and old alike all jump up and down praising, the bass fishing world and look at all the 25-pound sacks and stuff out there. Guys, let's face it. If you're not live scoping your fish for 11th place or worse, it doesn't matter if you're at Okeechobee or Lake St. Clair. You're fishing for 11th place or worse unless you shit can everything you know about bass fishing and pick up the scope and get after it.
I disagree. I disagree. I would say 70% of the time that's true, maybe 60. I don't think that's for every event. I mean,
that's 40% more than it should be.
70% of the time it works every time.
Fair enough, but that blanket statement,
it's got to add to 100.
Here's what's going to happen with the live scoping deal, Kyle. Every Drew Gill in the world, you can stack every catch the live scope makes from here to the moon and back. There will be no separation. There will be one by ounces. There'll be more 25-pound sacks than you've ever seen before because it's out there. And sometimes they're going to get somewhere along the line, they'll get educated. They'll get beat down and it'll shrink a little bit. But it truly, and you hit on it, Kyle, it does take away the techniques that we all learned. Well, most of us learned how to fish. And it's done. It's done. You'll look at the elite qualifiers, and again, most of them are still shitting in their diapers. They're young. That's true.
I'm 28 and I feel old compared to
you are old. You are. But what other sport can you?
It's one of the few ones that wasn't a virgin coming in last year.
You could come right out of high school and jump into the NFL. That's not true. You can come right out of high school and jump right in the NBA. That's not true. There's a few guys. There's
Gerald and I were having this exact conversation in South Carolina. Like you get one every 5 to 10 years. that comes out of high school.
Now, right, wrong, or indifferent, that's been a major shift in our sport, and it's caused a lot of disruption in the sport. And I'm not saying, when it's time for me to go to pasture, I'll go to pasture, and then I'll be on the sidelines commentating and critiquing you and your inability to skip a jig under a boat dock.
I'm coming down. I'm coming down to Ozarks one-on-one. We're videoing the whole thing. One-on-one. Yeah. You just got yourself an invitation. I am now okay inviting myself to your house.
Can I come too? Can we all come too, please?
Yes,
the
you can.
FCT Invitational.
Yes.
I'm not forgetting this. I'm not forgetting. I'm gonna
FBD Invitational. They're both.
Yeah. What we won't be doing, Kyle, is going out and live scoping.
And that's fine. That is totally fine.
It's a plain old FBD and derb. That's all.
Yeah. Hey, make sure. Honestly, I'm gonna put this in my calendar. Make sure that you get those no scope freaking whatever they do to like lock the. Because that's what the MPFL is doing, right? They're doing those orange things that clamp over your.
Yeah, that's the same thing we did when we went to TAA at in Georgia, Lanier.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but hey, the MPFL is going to draw a lot of people, just like you said, Kyle.
They are. Look at the roster.
It's going to be. There's going to be a lot of people that tune in. They're doing their own production. I'm really excited about it. They're going to be doing their own production. I want to see young guys like you come over and fish as well, Kyle.
I wanted to, dude. It was just a money thing. It's so hard nowadays for me to. I can't. I mean, people are like, "Oh, well, your entry fees dropped." I mean, yeah, dude, but so did my sponsors' dollars.
Well, I know, and I like you to be fiscally responsible, and I respect that. But
that's a great point. Segue to your deal, James.
Yeah, fiscally responsible. Kyle, have you got an LLC? Your girlfriend's an attorney, so I'm sure.
Yeah, I've got two. Yep.
Okay. Well, you're double protected.
I've got my LLC in an LLC in an LLC. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, you know him.
No.
And the living trust. So I'm starting to get 1099s in from people I've worked for. You guys are probably seeing it.
Yep.
Young anglers or old anglers alike, if you're out here hitting the road like this, you guys really need to set up a legitimate business and be ready. Be ready for whatever's in store for you. Have some insurance. Have an LLC set up if you want to go be legitimate. It shines favorably when you set a contract in front of somebody and says, you know what? Don't make that out to Kyle Patrick. Make it out to Kyle Patrick Fishing LLC.
Yep.
It just really protects your assets, and it's worth the $500 or $600 to get it set up and be prepared.
Easily.
Yeah. So I got some 1099s in the mail the other day. Very confusing. I'm not a tax person. I pay my taxes, but very, very confusing. I got one for Major League Fishing. Friday I got one from Fishing League Worldwide. That's what they renamed FLW.
Were they taxing your fines?
Well, here's the deal. I had a 1099 miscellaneous, all right? And it said $19,000. Now, I fished 2 events, and I actually made $19,500 because I had big bass that final knockout round tied, and big bass $500. You can make more than a Tuesday night big bass pot here. So, but hey, it's the big leagues, boys. It's the big leagues. Welcome to the fucking big leagues. All right. So, I caught an 8-1 at Grand Lake one time in a Toyota and won $250. Kicked me in the dick.
Large Coke at Wendy's.
Watson's worldwide wisdom.
Yes. So
premiere.
I got this 1099. I got $19,000 1099.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a second. They only paid me $9,500 because they kept $10,000. Now, if there's a tax accountant or tax specialist listening to this right now, please give us some insight here. So I called and I said, hey, you guys only wrote me a $9,500 check. I said, but you give me a $19,000 1099. Now, I'm going off cash basis accounting, okay?
Yeah.
All right. I'm no accountant.
Wait, but James, wouldn't you offset the $10,000 fine? Because it would, like, if you're paying MLF that $10,000 fine, that's coming out of your, I'm assuming your LLC has a bank account. It's coming out of your bank account. That 9,500, so it's just offsetting.
That's a write-off.
Yes.
Right.
You're not wrong there.
Fines.
You're not wrong there. But you still have to consider the fact that they did not write me $19,000 of checks.
I see what you're saying.
They wrote me a $9,500 check.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they took the fine out prior to paying you.
They took my fine out of that, but still
got it.
Still 1099 me for the 19,000 that they did not write.
Yeah.
But there's more. So today I got another 1099. Paid 1099 just like the other one, except this one was for $9,500. I said, oh, they sent me a corrected. I looked, they didn't check the corrected box. And I looked, and this one had a different payer's tax TIN number. All right. This one was for Major League Fishing for $9,500. So I got two 1099s that I'm supposed to give to my accountant. One for $19,000, another one for $9,500. Do the math real quick, Kyle. What's that equal?
What did you say? I wasn't even really listening to the numbers.
$19,000 plus $9,500. That's about $30,000.
28.5.
Yeah. There you go.
28.5.
Okay. So they're saying that they paid me in the two tournaments that I fished, where I come in 76 in one and 9th in the other, and a whopping $500 bonus for a tied big bass.
Solid season.
So solid season. So they're showing that they wrote me $28,000+ worth of checks.
Yeah.
When they only wrote me one check for $9,500. What the fuck is going on?
That is an accounting error, and probably one that they hoped you to oversee.
That's a double whammy Kansas City shuffle is what that is.
Pretty major.
And this is the first year, James, that I've had to deal. I mean, I've dealt with, these for probably 5 years, but this is the first year where I've had quite a few, and it is confusing. So I just send them to my accountant, that it's worth every dime I pay him. And like, we walk through it all. And so I've had some confusion on some of them as well, but it turns out that I'm just dumb and I'm not getting screwed over. It sounds like you're getting screwed over.
Well, I don't know that I'm getting screwed over, but it goes to here's where my panties are in the water. It goes and it plays into what I've been saying. Where in the hell, how much more crooked could you possibly be? How more of a conflict of interest could this league put in front of a person? I don't understand accounting, but I do understand if I was to pay somebody that come onto my job site and they did masonry work and they provide this service and they hand me a bill for $6,000 for their services, I can have them fill out a W-2, and then I can give them a 1099 for $6,000 because that's what the check I wrote them.
Right.
But I cannot write them a 1099 saying that I paid them $28,000.
Well, I guess you can if they don't notice.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, you could, and if you sign it and you fill it out or whatever, or you don't even need to fill it out, I guess. But if you just accept it, then they're writing it off. So they're
when the MLF, when the guy from, it looked like a Benton, Kentucky number called me yesterday to say, hey, I sent it to Kathy. She said she'd look into it. The guy that called me back was like, hey, James, just want to let you know that we're aware your 1099 for 19,000 is correct. That is the number that you won, and you have to provide them the letter that shows that we negotiated with you to keep $10,000 of your winnings, and this is not a Kathy or Boyd trying to trick you. And I'm like, I find it funny that this guy would think or would know that my dispute with MLF goes all the way to the accounting branch.
Yikes. It's like you're almost like one of the Three Stooges. You have to keep your hand in front of your nose now because they keep trying to poke you.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Well, I can see how that would grind your gears.
Yeah. And
that's what's breaking the ship.
Yeah.
I did ask again, is there any way I can fish the Toyota series, Lake of the Ozarks, Kentucky Lake of the Ozarks Championship, Grand Lake. And no.
Not happening.
Not happening.
Well, you got to pay that 19.5 off.
Tax lawyer.
So the point of this is get yourself LLC'd.
Yep.
And keep an eye on those 1099s that people are sending.
That's right. Keep an eye on them 1099s, boys, because they're coming in fast and furious.
Yeah.
They really are.
And if you're in the bassing industry, you got to watch that, apparently.
That's right.
As you see here, or you get double whammy Kansas City shuffled.
That's right.
Let me just say, to add on top of that, that's why I like to use one bank account for all of my checks that I get, sponsor dollars. All of the W-2s have the same bank account. That way, when you get a 1099, you can search in your bank account and look at all the transaction history, so you can make sure that 1099 is correct.
You bet.
Yeah.
And get at least one good credit card as well for your traveling. So Lee King said it, don't fish any tournaments that Boyd Duckett runs. Good advice right there.
That's
good advice.
Hey, and James Watson, you're taking that advice and you're about to grab the NPFL by the horns.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm ready to get my ass kicked just like I did everywhere else I fished.
But the thing about you, James, is you know what? I mean, you win.
You have fun.
Yeah.
I do.
He's hoisted. He's hoisted before, Kyle.
Yes.
He's hoisted.
I have hoisted.
I'm
gonna hoist again. Hoist away.
Hey, where does the Bass Galaxy get the official worldwide merch and FBD merch? Where do they get
FBD merch is going wild, and you can find it on fishingboatdocs.com. All right, fishingboatdocs.com.
Fishingboatdocs.com.
Going to ship Shawana, Indiana.
Oh yeah,
nice.
Yeah, that's not too. That's a hop, skip, and a jump from us.
And then I'm going to Indianapolis Sports Show.
Oh yeah, you're gonna see Luke Foley, the Whiskey Gypsy. We'll have him bring you a tin cup fun pack. How's that?
Sounds good. I'm going to be there the 22nd and 23rd at Indy.
22nd and 23rd of Feb.
Yep, and bring your cash, boys, because we're going to be selling some new hot to trot, don't jerk off FBD gear.
I like it. I like it.
Go
Hey, this has been the first ever installment of James Watson's Worldwide Wisdom. And you're wise, James. You have wise words. I don't know what else to say.
Boys, thanks for having me on. Kyle, good luck. Andy,
good chatting with you.
Have fun, guys.
Yeah, see you, bud.
Thanks.
That's James Watson. Hey, see you soon, bud.
All righty.
Knock him out. That's James Worldwide Watson.
Get yourself an LLC.
His wisdom was free to you, folks. Hope you know that.
Honestly, that's good wisdom. A lot. You'd be surprised how many people don't have an LLC set up, and like a system. You'd be surprised how many people still save receipts and put them in their glove compartment instead of having QuickBooks automatically attached to their credit card that they use. Like, it's astonishing. Good wisdom.
Hey, it was. I mean, it was very smart. He's given business advice as well as his rejuvenation with his new tournament league. I like it. I like
be
it.
In
folks.
like 9 different boats or something too.
Yeah, he's got 9 boat sponsors. He told us. He's running them all. Hey, what do you say that we bring on a local mallet? What do you boys think?
Let's do it.
But before we do, let's drop the power polls, take a quick break, and come right back with Caleb Konrad. You guys good with that?
Yeah.
Kyle, you got to take a quick relief?
Yeah, I do, actually.
Okay. All right, well, let's do it. Let's put the power polls down. Don't go nowhere, Bass Galaxy. We're coming back.
That's a pretty good one. Based in Chicago, Illinois, Tightrope Fishing has been designing and producing high-quality tackle for over a decade. Creators of the Baby Fireworks Super Jig, Bite Getter Spinnerbait, and more, Tightrope products are made by actual bass anglers that understand the need for tested and proven baits that catch fish. Tightrope products are available at tightropefishing.com and your favorite online tackle retailers.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, buddy.
Realize your boat's potential with outboard performance accessories that improve the handling, speed, and economy of your boat. Find your perfect accessory from Bob's Machine.
Welcome back. This is the glorified version of a Bass and Talk Show. I'm Pat Renwick. Is Kyle Patrick still here? Okay. Where are you? Is he still relieving himself?
No, I'm here.
There it is. It's Kyle Patrick. He's eating a fun bar. And the one and only Ryan Popcorn Whitaker. Ryan, tell us about what's going on here. What's happening?
Yeah, so what we're trying to do with Local Mallets is highlight, your local anglers around the country that are about the grind.
About the grind.
Yeah,
that's a skateboard term.
The dreamers, if you will. But the guys that are just getting at it, maybe don't have the brand new boat, but they got the dream and they got the drive, and they're getting out there and fishing the biggest tournaments they can, and just getting after it.
I like it,
and we want to highlight that because all we hear on a lot of these podcasts is, oh, it's a nightmare. You can't do this without this, and this, and you got to have all this funding and everything. And it's just not true. If like I say, like if you want to be a welder, someone will be like, yeah, you can do it. Just do this, and this, and you can be a welder. Mm-hmm. But when you say you want to be a professional bass angler, people get all negative. And we want to shed that because it shouldn't be negative.
Let's shed it.
Chasing your dreams.
Let's kick it. Let's take the hinge off of that knee and quit kicking it in the ass and get it out.
Let's take it to New York.
Who you got, Ryan? Who is your local?
We've got Caleb Konrad from New York State.
Konrad,
and he grew up in Brooklyn, New York, living right on top of other people.
All right, is he in the house?
Let's bring him in.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the one and only proper bassin' man from New York, It's Caleb.
Going on, boys?
Let's go, Caleb.
Back in New York.
He's in New York, Kyle.
In New
Easy,
York.
Sizzle Chaz.
Unique New York.
Easy.
Unique New York. All right, that's
Easy.
nice
Got a
surprise.
Chicago Bears blanket, though. I like that.
No, that's Syracuse orange right there, actually.
Ah,
Syracuse orange, baby.
You almost had us. Damn.
Yeah.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. How you guys doing? I've been listening to the podcast tonight. It's been a good show, it seems so far. Always good hearing from
Most of
James
it
Watson
sucked,
and my
but-
boy Kyle over here.
Yeah, man, we're just
It's
getting
fun.
wild here.
It was shitty till you came on.
Oh God.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
I
my
just
God.
man, I've heard about you through Kyle and through some research, and I love your story and what you're doing. I just wanted to kind of tell the people, like, you know, I know you grew up in Brooklyn, New York, which there ain't much water there. Especially not
That
much bass,
river.
especially not much bass fishing water. And you grew up playing music and come from a musical family. I relate to a lot of this stuff, and you're a
Yeah.
drummer as well. But just kind of tell the people how you found bass fishing and what made you want to jump into this tournament thing.
Yeah, man, for sure. So like you said, I grew up in Brooklyn, and a lot of people when you know I tell them that, they're shocked. They're like, "How'd you get into it?" So my mom's college roommate lived in Pennsylvania, and my parents are from the Midwest originally. My mom's from Indiana, my dad's from Illinois, and they'd get sick of the city sometimes and just want to get me and my brothers out of the city. You know, like growing up in a city is tough. Yeah, I could never live there at this point in my life. I love growing up there, but anyway, we'd go out to Pennsylvania and they had a farm pond, and so my dad introduced me to fishing when I was probably 5 or 6. You know, and just like for you guys, I caught my first bluegill, and it was like instant addiction. You know, just obsessed. I can't explain it. I don't know why. I don't know why I latched on to fishing, but I was obsessed with it. And I'd wake up before my dad on Saturdays, wake him up to go fishing. He'd get mad at me. You know, he'd be like, "Go back to sleep. You're not going yet." And I grew up. So in the city, we measure distance by blocks, not miles. So I grew up like 4 blocks away from Prospect Park in Brooklyn. And a lot of people don't know that they stock it with bass every year. It's actually a really good fishery. And so I kind of cut my teeth, learned how to bass fish right there at Prospect Park. And my dad, you know, he's not much of a fisherman. He's more of a golfer, but he knew how to throw weightless plastic. So, you know, he taught me how to throw a weightless Senko. We used to throw the Senko, the Yum Lizard, and then once we figured out about the creature, that was revolutionary for us, you know, throwing the creature instead of the Senko. So that's kind of how I got all into it. And then, you know, every time we'd go on family vacations, they'd be on the beach, I'd be fishing. That's just kind of how it went.
Sounds
And then
familiar.
as I got older, you know, fishing wasn't really cool. Like in the city, no one fishes. I explained to them, you know, that I bass fish. I remember I tried to start a fishing club at my high school, and they literally looked at me like I was crazy. They're like, "What? Like you want to do what after school? You want to go to Central Park and fish? Like, no, that's dangerous. You can't do that."
right.
And yeah, so that's when I kind of got into music. You know, I played the drums. The drums was the other big passion of mine, and I got in with the band in high school and got real serious playing music, and fishing kind of took a back burner. And I didn't want to go to college. Actually, I wanted to tour with my band, but two of the guys in the band had strict parents, didn't want to do it. So I was kind of like, you know, what's my second favorite thing in life, and that was fishing. So I decided to go to college and pursue a degree in aquatic and fishery science at SUNY ESF in Syracuse, New York. And it was there. They had a bass fishing team, and I joined it my first week there, and that's where the whole tournament addiction really kicked off. I fished my first college tournament. It was at Smith Mountain Lake in Virginia, and we camped. We didn't realize the campsites were rock; they weren't grass. So we slept on rocks for a week straight. And that first college tournament, man, again, just like when I first caught my first bluegill, I was like, "This is it. Like this is what I want to do." You know, I found it. I was like, "This is it." You know.
At this point, you don't have a boat yet. Or are you just using?
At this point, yeah, I didn't have a boat. So I mean, I could tell stories for hours on here, but it's funny because there was only so many boats in the club, and so we had a shore fishing competition to decide who was going to be allowed to like go to the big FLW tournament, right?
Yeah.
And all the guys, I was a freshman. They're all like, look at this kid from New York City. Like, who's this jabroni? You know what I mean? And I rolled up with my.
I like that you said jabroni.
Yeah. I had done some research, right? It was November. I'd done some research that for I was taking it seriously, and I read that crankbaits are really good in the fall, square bills. So I convinced my buddy to drive me to Dick's. I bought a square bill. I didn't even know how to throw a bait caster. And I went and I was throwing this square bill on a spinning rod, and I ended up catching a 5-pounder, and I won the tournament. And so I was the one who got selected to fish the FLW tournament. They're all so they're furious. They were so mad.
Now you really got the bug.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's no turning back.
Exactly.
So I want to take you back a little bit. Though. When you're just getting bit by the fishing bug, like what were you looking for motivate or even just to learn? I mean, you're in Brooklyn, like that. If anyone hasn't been to Brooklyn, like that is a very highly congested area. People are not fishing. Like
no,
it's not a fishing area. Like how are you finding this information? Obviously, I'm sure you're using the internet, but what are you looking for on the internet to learn how to fish? I mean, what were you using? What were some of the channels or anything you were checking out?
So I grew up in kind of me and Kyle are actually the exact same age, I believe. You said you're 28, right, Kyle?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So we kind of both grew up in that era of like we had technology when we were young, but it was kind of the transition period, you know? So when I was growing up, I was still mostly watching fishing shows. Like every Saturday morning I'd watch fishing shows. And I have a distinct memory of Mike Iaconelli was a big inspiration for me because he was one of the most relatable guys. I remember seeing him and be like, hey, I kind of, I can relate to him. So I'd watch all the fishing shows every Saturday morning, magazines, Bassmaster magazine. I used to go to Barnes and Nobles and I would literally buy magazines at Barnes and Nobles and read them. And then my dad, obviously, my dad, he really made an effort, even though he wasn't a big fisherman, to kind of like learn and then help teach me too. So those are probably the main sources. As I got older, I got into the YouTube scene and I learned a lot. I learned a lot from YouTube. Like this is more, late high school into college at this point. And then my college partner, Luke, and his dad, I got to give them credit, Luke and Joe Matt. They were kind of mentors for me once I got into the tournament scene, and they kind of helped teach me how the tournament scene went.
One thing I will say about tournament bass fishing, and I always say it, and it's important, is some of the best anglers I know, professional, not professional, trying to be professional, whatever, they always from a young age had like one or two guys that were a lot older than them, like but like my mentor, when I met him and we fished the tournament together, I was 16 and he was like 48, 50. And it transcends age. Like this tournament stuff, it transcends. You need to have someone with a lot of experience, and it's a weird thing because like my parents were like, "What are you doing, hanging out with this 48-year-old?" I'm like, "I'm not hanging out with him. We're fishing. We're fishing. It's different. I'm not like in his basement.
Right.
I'm not in the basement. Like
we're not at the mall.
Exactly.
We're not at Auntie Annie's.
And now, Kyle, for me, like I just turned 41. I'm hanging with the younger guys now to learn from them.
Yeah.
On the electronics, I hang.
Well, it goes both ways too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. It goes even before electronics. It went both ways. Like because when you have someone that you're teaching, they're asking you questions that you might not know the answer to, and then you learn from them. Like
exactly.
That's why it's fishing is the one thing that I think transcends age more than any other sport or activity, because it's weird. It's weird that way. So that,
and as far as teaching too, I don't think that anything is a substitute for someone actually showing you in person physically compared to a video. I mean, that's how I learned how to trim a jig skirt.
Right,
you know what I mean? I don't think
Yeah.
I could learn it as intimately if I was being taught it on a video.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you taught me how to trim
even
a chatterbait. I was seeing 4 of them at the time, but you taught me how to see that.
And you learned that's why you're so good, because you trimmed 4 at once.
Yeah.
Didn't even know it.
But Kyle, like you said, like it transcends age. It's not just fishing, it's passion activities, passion sports. Like I'm sure Caleb would agree, like in music too. Like I hung around, I was in a band with guys that were 15 years older than me, 10, 15 years older than me.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. if you're if it's a niche thing and you're into it, I grew up skateboarding too, skateboarding with guys in their 30s when I was 16. If you're all into this thing, it doesn't matter.
He was going to massage parlors with guys that were his age. They were all into massages.
It's a passion.
It's a passion.
Yeah. Oh, that's good, Pat. That's
you
good.
like massage parlors too?
Yeah. Well, come on. My mom don't care.
I'm in.
As long as we're into the same thing, my parents are fine with it. Sorry, Caleb.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
I don't know where we were.
No, Caleb was just, no, I think that's important though. What Caleb was talking about was like having that, like when you get into tournament bass fishing, it can be kind of a daunting thing.
Yeah.
Exciting, but a little daunting because you're like, these guys have these boats that blah, blah, blah. And to have someone, I forget who you said that, two guys, and similar to me, a father and a son, and like they are tournament anglers and you're learning, and them mentoring is a huge thing. I had the same thing. And it's huge.
Caleb, what was the first like great piece of advice you were given from these guys? Like, what was if you could point to like one thing that they told you that kind of opened your eyes on like how to catch fish or a technique or anything like that?
That's a really good question, honestly. It sounds kind of crazy, but like I literally like at 18, the main thing I knew how to do was just throw a weightless plastic. And like I'd say the biggest, most eye-opening thing that first college tournament where they're basically like, yeah, you can't just throw a weightless Senko on every tournament. There's all these other techniques you got to learn. So them just show me, this is what flipping is.
That's what Kyle does, and he's an elite.
Yeah, you kind of can.
Yeah, true. You kind of can, I guess, with the Senko.
Nowadays.
Nowadays. No, but that's a really good question. I can't really think back to any real advice that really like stuck too hard, off the top of my head, but really just like that diversity of, you got to learn all this different stuff, you got to keep an open mind. I guess just listen, listen to guys. Like I always tried. I know Kyle's the same way. Whenever someone's in the same room as you that's, a lot more experience as you and they're willing to share something with you, just shut up and take it all in and listen. And
you're right.
Really like commit it to your memory. Like I'm like a sponge, or I try to be when I'm around any of these guys I look up to or that are way better fishermen than me. I just try to soak up everything they tell me.
It's so true, dude. And I mean, and that's so impressionable for all anglers. I can remember being a little kid and working at a Bagley booth with Bill Dance as a kid. And Bill Dance told me, I said, Bill, what's your favorite color jelly worm? He was throwing the man's jelly worms at the time. He said, it doesn't matter what color it is, Pat, as long as it's blue. So that always stuck in my head. I mean, exactly. there's plenty of colors of worms, but when I think of a plastic worm color, I think of blue.
Talk about the name drop of all name drops.
Yeah, how'd you like that?
Hey, when I was hanging out with Bill
Hello,
Dance,
everybody. Yeah, when I was little, Bill Dance told me. Anyway, sorry.
Caleb, this is going to be probably the only time I'll ever be able to ask this question where someone will understand it, but drumming, I feel like with this whole minnow shake thing, and I used to say it about frogging and jerkbaiting too, but I feel like drummers have a major advantage with this stuff. Getting that rhythm going.
You're not wrong.
I never even thought about that. That's a really good point, dude. I never thought about that.
Being able to shake that thing at a steady rhythm.
You know what? Yeah, you're right.
Or lots of Marlboros. That's why fighters good at shaking a swim jig too. Lots of nicotine.
I would have guys like I'd be throwing a frog and I could snap that rod tip like super, super fast just from my snare drum hand, being so whipped in shape. And now it's transferring with the minnow, and I couldn't be happier.
Did you guys just become best friends?
See, now I have an idea. You could almost like shake a minnow, like you could do different rhythms with it. Maybe shake a minnow to like a White Stripes song or something.
Do like a reggae beat to it, accent
like a reggae beat. Yeah, like switch it up a little bit.
Dude, all kidding aside, it can get really, really, really tiring to shake a minnow in a perfect rhythm because a lot of the times, like, you need to keep that minnow at the same exact rhythm.
Keep it away from them, keep raising them.
Dude, sometimes I'm like, you ever do the old switcheroo? You ever do the old switcheroo?
If you haven't played punk rock songs for an hour straight with a hi-hat hand, go
that's a really good point. Yeah. Everlong by Foo Fighters. That's one of my favorite drum songs, man.
Yeah.
You know what helps too with that actually. You know what helps with that too
Exactly.
is ice fishing, man. Ice fishing
Yeah.
helps a ton with as far as the cadence of how to shake a minnow, because that's basically all you're doing when you're ice fishing is you're just trying to raise fish up off the bottom to get them to eat. You know, it's the same type of concept, really.
Exactly. Exactly. So
You keep shaking your minnow, you'll go blind with it.
shake your minnow too much. So
That's why I
you go
switch hands.
So you go to college.
True.
Let's
Me and
stay
Maya
on the,
Palmer.
stay on the trajectory here. You go to college.
Sorry.
You jump in.
No, you're
You
good.
jump in this. You jump in this bass club there, and now you're getting to fish some real tournaments. And what was that had to have been like a culture shock coming from a major city, like getting out there and fishing these large bodies of waters. You were used to fishing essentially a pond in the city, and now you're out there fishing that. What I kind of have a similar story. I grew up in the city fishing Humboldt Park Lagoon.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
probably a similar thing.
Yeah,
but
sounds like it.
I learned an incredible amount of stuff walking around this urban pond. What translated for you? Like what did you learn just banging the bank that you were able to take to these larger lakes? Because I've had a lot of people tell me like, oh, you're fishing a pond, or oh, you're fishing from shore. It doesn't work. Nothing's going to translate when you jump on a boat, go to a big body of water. But I disagree. I want to hear what you think translated over.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I would say, you can still learn a lot of the basic concepts of bass fishing at these small bodies of water. Like you can learn how to bed fish, you can learn how to fish all these different techniques. I remember I was learning how to frog without even knowing it. I didn't even know what a frog was. But there was this lake that had all these weed mats, and I would reel my Senko over the weed mats, and the fish would blow up on it like a frog.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. I didn't even know I was frogging, but that's essentially what I was doing. So once I got to the big lake and learned how to frog, I was like, oh, I've done this before,
Right.
So really, and you can apply those, ponds are just like microcosms of a lake, really, they're just like a small lake. So you really can do a lot with just pond fishing. I will say though, it was a massive adjustment for me. The biggest thing I remember was like when you fish a pond, if something looks good and you fish it, you're probably going to catch a fish off it, right? If there's a lay down in the pond, it's probably going to hold a fish.
Yep.
When you get to these big lakes, like the biggest like thing for me at first was not everything that looks good is going to have fish on it. Like some of these massive bodies of water you go to, everything looks good. And you got to kind of learn how to find, what separates this lay down from that lay down, or, why does this spot hold fish and this doesn't? That was like the biggest kind of culture shock for me, I guess you could say, of like going from only fishing ponds to now I'm in these boats trying to break down these big bodies of water. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got larger dead areas. You go to a big lake, larger areas that just aren't good.
What did Al Linder say, Ryan? 90% of the fish live in 10% of the lake.
Yeah, exactly. That was the biggest shock for me. Yep.
Yeah. So now you're able. I want to talk about like you jumped into this thing after college, and now you're trying to take it to the next level. You're trying to fish larger tournaments, and you're having to fund it all yourself. Like I talked about before you came on, like there's this big kind of misconception, I'm going to call it, like that you have to come from money. You have to have all this funding to get out there and do it, but you can still fish at a really high level if you don't have a $100,000 bass boat or a brand new truck or whatever. How have you been able to put this together to be able to fish these larger tournaments that you're jumping into now?
Yeah, 100%, man. And you guys talked a little bit earlier about what bass fishing needs more of and needs less of. And like, we need way more positivity in bass fishing, man, especially in 2025. I'm sick of everyone fighting. I'm sick of all the negativity. It's like, there's no real place for it. We all do this because we love it, right? I mean, that's why we're all here sitting here talking to each other right now. And honestly, like that, we need more of that in the sport. So you're right. You don't need to come for money. You don't need to be rich. I bought a 2006 Stratus bass boat in 2017.
Nice.
So that was 8 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the boat I fished off. It has a 150 Yamaha VMAX 2-stroke. It has no power pulls. I had 2006 Lowrance little tiny electronics when I first got it, and that's what I've been using. Everything I've done, failure is not an option for me. I'm so obsessed with tournaments. I love it so much. Like my whole life, every decision I've made in the last, really 10 years has been calculated towards chasing this dream. And I've been trying to take a slow approach to it. So the way I see it, like if you don't come for money, and you don't have unlimited funds, you just have to be calculated. You have to be smart. You know, every move you make has to be towards that dream, and you have to really want it, man. You know, like I knew when I got into it, it was going to be tough. I didn't know how hard it was going to be, but at the end of the day, if you just keep getting up, you know, every hardship you face, if you just keep going, you can get there, man. You can. If you're out here and you're listening to this, and you are discouraged or anything, I'll give you a good story from this past summer. So, we had a big tournament on the St. Lawrence River, a New York Bass Nation tournament, and it was out of Ogdensburg, which is about 70 miles from Lake Ontario. And I knew the tournament would be won in Lake Ontario, but I was super nervous about the run because my boat only has a 36-gallon gas tank and it's a two-stroke. I was like, I don't even know if I can get there and back.
Mm-hmm.
And I made a 70-mile run one way to Lake Ontario. Ended up taking second place day one, had over 25 pounds, and I got a seventh place day two with like 23 pounds. And made this national championship next year for the Bass Nation,
Great
through those tournaments.
Yeah,
67 miles one way, over 300 miles in 2 days.
Yikes.
2006 Stratus bass boat with a two-stroke Yamaha VMAX. And there was other guys day two, right? It wasn't like easy two. It was blowing day two. And other
That's
guys
awesome.
were turning around. I was passing guys that were in their 2022 Phoenixes turning around. And I was like, nope, I'm sending it. Like,
You
I don't
said
care.
failure ain't an option.
Well, I mean,
Caleb.
I was
I don't
all
care
in.
what-
Fair ain't an option. I'm going. And I
like
went and I caught him, man.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says. Like, a long run is always a risk. I don't care what boat you're in.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Brand new boats break down too, all the time.
All
I'll
the
say-
time.
All the time. Yeah, go check
I'll
out the
say
service
this.
trailer. I don't know.
I had it. I had again, and I set myself up for success. Like I mapped it out in practice. I made sure I knew right where I was going for gas. And me and Kyle even talked about. I called him. I was like, "Hey, where's the best marina stop at up here?" And I calculated everything. So if this goes wrong, here's what I'm going to do. If that goes wrong, here's what I'm going to do.
Right.
And even with all that, day one, there was a secret, like there's like this weird weather thing that went on. I turned a corner and there was this wind that wasn't predicted, and there was 3 footers I had to drive back for the last 20 minutes. I thought it was going to be late.
Oh,
So
wow.
even with all that, it was the most nervous 20 minutes of my life in a tournament. I had 25.5 pounds of smallmouth in the boat, and I thought I wasn't going to make it back. My co-angler looked at me and was like, "You're going to kill us, dude." And I was like, nah, dude, I'm going to get us back on time.
Oh, jeez.
So it
Send
doesn't
in the Stratus.
So it doesn't. You don't have to come from money. But what do you have to have drive? I mean, it's just drive. Like what?
Gotta want it, dude.
What keeps you doing it? I mean, what is the thing that makes you want this so bad? Like, what's driving it?
I just love it. Like I can't live without it, man. I absolutely love it. Like all I want to do is bass fish. Like it's literally all I want to do. Specifically tournaments. I'm competitive by nature, and I love bass fishing. And something about bass tournaments, I can't live without it, man. That's really all it comes down to.
None of us would do it. Nobody would do it if they didn't.
No
love
one.
It. Why would
No
you?
one.
Do it?
No.
Why would
I just
anyone
can't.
do this if they didn't love it? Yeah.
Here's the thing that I think Caleb's dead on with, and that he like truly does this is like, and it's a mindset too. Like people want instant gratification
Yeah.
these days. Like, I mean, really, from waking up and having to scroll through Instagram, like kids are like, they need like everything right at their fingertips. And like, if you don't come from a massive trust fund where it's unlimited, like you can't have instant gratification. So I think having like what Caleb does this perfectly is like a calculated plan, a setup for like, not only getting to the point where he's comfortable now competing in big events, but then also financially working your way to the point where, okay, I'm going to fish the opens. I'm going to fish BFLs. Then I'm going to fish, some Bass Nation stuff. Then I'm going to fish the opens, like whatever it is. There's a timeline to it. People say they can't do it because they can't handle wanting it so badly, but not receiving the instant gratification. Like
Exactly.
I want a 9. They're like, I want a 920 Elite Phoenix, which I'm sure Caleb wants terribly badly. But like, you can't just go out and buy $100,000 boat. You have to think, okay, and I think that's the problem is people just are upset because it's like, yeah, it is a massive risk. And yes, it's very expensive, but if you want it badly enough over time, you can make it happen.
That's your example, Caleb.
And
Perfect.
dude, it's, some of the best advice I ever heard was from Mike and Ellie. saying, do not skip steps. If you're trying to make it in bass fishing, don't skip steps. Don't just throw yourself out there into the biggest tournaments. Start small, create goals. You know, I want to win this club tournament. Okay. Then I want to get to a regional. Bass Nation's one of the best avenues to get there because they set it up to where if you do make it from the starting point, like you're never going to skip a step. You start at a club, go to a state championship, make a regional, you know, now you can just kind of pay into the regionals, but it's still a nice trajectory to prove yourself. And if you do make it that way, you're good enough. Like you already proved it. You're like, I won here, I won here, I won here. And then once you get there, you're ready. And I think that's one of the biggest things that guys are missing. I see a lot of guys just jumping out. They win 2 clubbers and they're like, I'm going to the opens. And I respect the hustle. I respect the confidence. But man, I mean, you got to learn first. There's a reason there's a single, triple, and double and triple A in baseball. You know, you gotta work your way up. It's the same thing.
And it's not even like necessarily about fishing skill either. It's about tournament skill.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing where people are like, oh, like I want a whole bunch. Like I'm gonna go fish the opens. Like, dude, my first open, I finished 178. I remember I jumped into an open, and I'm like, I'm gonna jump into these opens, and it wasn't a matter of I had a special circumstance. I had a guy that sponsored me, so I sort of in that way had a little bit of instant gratification because I got lucky, right? And I jumped in. I finished 178th, 145th, and 68th in that order. And I learned that year. I fished three opens to the boater, and I learned. I was like, it is a totally different ball game than any other tournament fishing I've ever done. Going and fishing the opens, 250 boats on Pickwick. I've never been to Pickwick in my life, right? Like that. It's not necessarily fishing skill, and that's why it's important to have that ladder where you're slowly progressing.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm glad you said that, man.
Caleb follows it. He's calculated.
Yep. And just one
calculated Caleb.
One more thing with Caleb here.
I like it.
Caleb, you just started guiding as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
that's correct.
What lakes are you guiding on?
Yeah, so I'm guiding a lot of people up here. Everyone knows about the St. Lawrence, but we have some other really phenomenal lakes in New York. I can guide if you want to go out on St. Lawrence Lake, Ontario. I'm qualified for it. I also guide on Cayuga Lake, Oneida Lake, and Onondaga Lake. So there are 3 really other super popular lakes up here. They're all phenomenal fisheries. April, May, and June are phenomenal months to come up and book a trip. I started that just about a year ago, so that's going really well. I also have a YouTube channel. You can follow me on both, Real One Guide Service. And just to kind of go back a little bit too about what you guys were just talking about with working your way up the ladder. That's how I've always looked at it. Like Kyle said, you have to kind of prove yourself at each level as you go up, and the finances are important too. A lot of guys will go completely broke trying to pursue this dream. And the reason I'm still fishing on my 2006 Stratus is because it's all I need. You know, I'm gonna fish the northern Toyotas out of it this year because
it's working for you.
Yeah,
it's working for me. I can compete with it, and until I am ready to take that next step, I'm gonna be in the opens in the next 2 years. That's my plan anyway, and I'm gonna probably upgrade the boat for that. But because I've taken so long and taken my time and been financially smart along the way, I'm in a position that's going to allow me to do that. You know, I'm not going broke, preemptively or too early jumping into something and getting way in over my head,
Yep.
It's calculated.
And
Caleb,
I told you this when we talked earlier, but I fished 2 years of the opens out of a 06 Bass Cat, and I didn't do as well as I wanted, but it was not the boat's fault.
It's not the boat's fault. That's just an
not the boat's fault.
That's an excuse,
I was able
man.
to get anywhere I needed to get to, and I didn't feel like I had a major disadvantage or anything like that. I know a lot of people will tell you got to have the full rig or whatever, but if you got 18 plus bass boat with at least a 150, you can go fish anything.
Nah, you got to have a full rig.
I pass people, dude. I have my Stratus is fast. I pass people with 250s in my little Stratus. I swear, I pass them.
Yep. They're just using more gas. That's it.
Hey, that's calculated Caleb. That's chaotic Kyle, and that's Ryan Popcorn Whitaker. He's the guy running the ringling on the local mallets.
Yeah.
You guys want to give stuff away?
Yeah.
Away.
Let's give stuff away. And by the way, Caleb, we're pulling for you. Tell the people what you're doing this year. Just so they know, we know.
Yeah.
But what else you fishing so people can follow you?
So I'm gonna be stepping it up this year and fishing the Northern Toyotas. I'm also fishing the 25.5 Bass Nation National Championship. I'll be in that. The Opens are on the agenda for definitely next year at one division, if not all of them. And then if not next year, definitely 27. But for now, we're just gonna do the Toyotas this year. A bunch of local stuff. I'm going to be putting out a bunch of YouTube content, guiding, all that kind of stuff. So definitely follow along. I think it'd be cool personally to come back on here, maybe in a year and just kind of see.
You got to win, though.
Yeah.
You got to win
Kind
something.
of progression.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to try my best.
Hey, you're
brother.
going to the
best.
championship. You're going to the Bass Nation Championship, aren't you?
Yep. There you are.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got to win that.
Hopefully, we'll see you up there in lacrosse for sure.
Yeah. I'll be there.
Yeah. Good luck with everything. And love your story, man.
Heck yeah.
I appreciate it.
Anybody
Guys.
living in the concrete jungle thinks they can't jump out there, get a boat, and compete at a high level.
He's a local mallet.
Guy's doing
You can do it, man.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Yep. Awesome.
Give away
All
stuff.
right, Pat.
Give
We're
it
giving
away.
away prizes.
Give it away now.
What do
What
we
do you
got?
got?
I'm giving it away. The
What are you
winner.
doing?
I'm giving away 2 K&K custom his lights for your power poles, your Raptors, whatever.
J&K custom light.
Are we doing two? Are we doing 2 of these lights to one guy or 2 to each individual? Up to you, Pat.
Wait, no. One guy gets 2 lights because one light.
One guy
you gotta
gets
have
2 lights.
You got a
right?
bow,
Right,
you got a bow and a
fine.
stern light?
And the winner of the 2 lights,
2 lights.
Clint Mooring.
Clint
Did I say that
Mooring.
right?
Mooring.
Clint Mooring.
Yes, Clint Mooring.
This guy's gonna light up a room.
You
He
won
is.
the power pole lights or the K&K shallow water anchor lights for power pole.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
I got it. So that keeps you safe and you can brightly livesy with them.
Yes, exactly.
All right.
All right.
Now
I've got a
what are
got
you
one.
giving? Or you got another thing you're giving away too, right, Kyle?
oh yeah, the potato.
Oh, yeah. So this is going to be a special prize. I'm going to add some baits and some stuff to keep you excited, but you will be receiving 1 item from my kitchen, whether it's a fork, a potato, could be some pineapple chunks. Pineapple
potato
chunks.
peeler.
Yeah,
I like the rings.
literally. Yeah.
You know the things you put in the corn so you can eat them, and then you can twist them in the butter, and they don't get you.
Oh,
the corn spears.
What are
Do you have
They're
those?
impossible to wash.
Can you send
No,
those? Yeah. What are those?
I could.
Corn stickers.
Yeah.
Yes. The winner.
Marine.
Train wreck
Corn
at the
stickers.
end.
The winner is. I had the results aren't in yet.
Can you do this when you announce it? Since your hat's sideways, can you do like a boy band arm cross thing? Yes.
That's some Brooklyn shit.
That's
right there for
Brooklyn
Caleb.
shit.
There we go. Careful what you do with your hands, though.
Yeah.
The day winner is Kyle McCann.
Kyle McCann. Grass monkey. Nice. Kyle McCann, you won potato peeler. Kyle Patrick's kitchen. All you got to do is direct message J.R. Ewing Rock and Show Fantasy on the Straightcast Bookface page, and he'll get you your prizes. Now, Ryan, you're giving away the line and lure.
I got some line and lure.
You got the line and lure, and I got the tin cup.
Line and lure, bow to stern, and armor shield.
Yes, that's a combo pack.
Oh,
Uncle
my
Kevin Van Dam
God.
made this stuff.
You're gonna stay clean, protected, and no thumb burning. during the
Yes, you
summer.
don't even have to get a shot.
The winner is Tim Clark.
Tim Clark.
Tim Clark. Congratulations, Tim.
Congrats, Tim.
Get in the Straight Cast
Yeah,
Facebook
slip in the
page.
Stray Cast DM. Say, hey, Rock and Show Fantasy. Send me some line and lure.
J.R. Ewing.
Okay.
He's an oil man, but he'll get you some line lubricant also.
He's an Earlman.
He's an Earlman.
Okay. The winner of the Tin Cup Mountain Whiskey.
This is a good one.
Box of fun to your door. I know there's all kinds of good stuff in there. There's shirt and stuff and other things what we can't talk about.
It's a party in a box.
Yeah, because it's something about the prohibition.
Yeah.
Something.
Perfect for the Super Bowl.
Wait, I'm supposed to have the winner. Hold on a second. Hey, I know this guy. Yes, I do.
Do you?
Yeah. That's Dennis Hinkle. That's
Dennis
Den
Hinkle.
Hinkle. Congratulations, Den Hinkle. Hinkle. Hey, laces out, Finkel. Is that Hinkle or Finkel?
Finkel.
That's Finkel.
Finkel is Einhorn.
Laces Einhorn. Finkel is Einhorn.
Einhorn.
Einhorn is Finkel. Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel.
That's right.
But Caleb is a local mallet.
And he's a calculated Caleb. I like
calculated Caleb is a local
that.
mallet.
You made a nickname for me today.
And chaotic Kyle Patrick is an Elite Series angler. That's sad. And this has been a dang good time. James Watson would like a calculated Caleb. He would.
Yeah, he would.
He's got business savvy, I could tell. James would be, that's the guy. Kyle, he'd be yelling at Kyle the whole time. But I can't wait for the fish off. How about the fish off?
Look, I have it in my calendar. I'm gonna make a whole thing out of it. Dead
FTD
serious.
invitation.
And you're fond of the Ozarks too. You're fond of, obviously.
I am fond of the Ozarks, and he's gonna be in for a treat.
Yeah, I can't wait. And we are the official hosts.
Yes, you are. Yeah, I wonder if we can figure out like a live stream.
Yeah, we're the hosts, and anybody in the Bass Galaxy that wants to come to it, they can. James Watson will put you up. He's got a huge house. We're all going to stay at James's place. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah.
All right. Hey,
sounds good.
Bass Galaxy. It's a thin raft that we all float on in this world of bass fishing. But you know what? Just like Kyle Patrick, Caleb, Ryan Whitaker, Andrew Ellenberger, Josh Sokol, and J.R. Ewing, I'm going to get my kicks before this whole shit house goes up in flames. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Keep sailing on the thin raft. Keep calculating and uncalculating and calculating and uncalculating. Kyle Patrick, thank you for coming on the show, dude.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks for your support of this show.
Yeah, of course.
So much. And your cool prize. K&K Custom.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Caleb, thanks for coming on here. And your positive vibe. We dig that. We'd like to thank Omnia Fishing. You know about the Omnia Premium Pro app, Caleb? You better check it out.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, Omnia
I've heard of
Premium Pro. That'd be perfect. Get on it. Sims Fishing, keeping us looking good, even at church. I wore Sims to church Christmas Day. Actually, I did. Look good. Hey, Bob's Machine Shop. We're all jacked up with Bob's. Impulse Lithium. Don't skip a beat. Power Pole. I power pull down for pleasure. I don't know about you, Caleb. Tin Cup Mountain Whiskey, the official mountain whiskey of Bass and Brown Liquor. Mad Science Print Lab. Yeah, they make cool stuff. Check them out. Mad Science Print Lab on the gram. Berkeley Fishing. Abu Garcia Fishing. And Waterland. We're throwing shade. It's Waterland sunglasses. Hey, there he is right there. Look at that cool guy with the water. It's Kyle Patrick. He's a sophomore. He's moving up in the world. There's Ryan Whitaker. He's got the Groucho shades on. I'm Pat Renwick. I bid you peace. Peace, I bid you. This has been an Andrew Ellenberger Ginger Ninja production. Are you ready, Kyle? Let's do this. Bass Streets Bass. All right. Arms. Yeah.
Later, Bass Galaxy.
Peace.